That was the clip holding my dress. I followed.
I just messed up Cam.
I can fix him while Eric introduces this. Go, Eric.
You didn't choose this. This isn't who you are. No. You're a product of your world and your beliefs. Maybe you chose to punch deck and surf the vast oceans of information on the net, always looking for an opportunity to make the month's rent with some sensitive info located in a node through a firewall's back door on some corporate database. Maybe you chose a better you. Cyberware or Bioware, in the end, are opposite sides of the same coin. Augmentation. Whether you chose the latest Zeiss eyes with built-in augmented reality, hidden and retractable rippers for your hands or feet, a bio-sculpted face resembling a long-dead celebrity, or grafted muscle and skin weave the equivalent of Kevlar, you chose the augmented life. Either way, there's no turning back now. Maybe you chose to jump on a Mizutani and ride off into the outlands, turn your back on all of it. Highways and byways your only home. Living on the edges of society, drifting along, scavenging, wind at your back, and an open road of possibilities. Maybe you chose to pick up a guitar or a microphone, rail against the unjust system of an unjust world, expressing your truth on a live feed. Your fans and followers wait with bated breath for you to make a move. The revolution begins with you. That was then. You live in the shadows now, a criminal, an edge runner. Whether you wear a uniform or suit during the day, you run at night. If you're going to survive, you're going to need to do what's necessary to make that next payday and stay above water. This is the hustle. Most times that means working alongside other criminals like yourself. It means taking on impossible jobs from a suit who doesn't care whether you live or die in the pursuit of their client's satisfaction. You're cheap and expendable. Maybe you'll become an addict and burn out after doing too much Dorf, trying to deaden the shock from a failed net run. Or maybe your brain will turn to slag after the network alarm you tripped summoned the dreaded black ice. Maybe those augments just weren't enough to keep you from being bisected by the monofilament wire of a yak enforcer. Or maybe your chrome will fail you just when some booster decides to chop you up in a darkened alleyway and sell your bits and pieces to a ripper doc. Maybe you'll finally run out of gas when your rivals surprise ambush your road family before dawn, leaving your carcass for the real vultures of the outlands. Or maybe you'll just run your last sector blockade inside city limits and get blasted to oblivion with exploding rounds from some trigger-happy corpo with a badge and a license to kill. Maybe you'll ultimately sell out, get co-opted, and co-signed into a lifelong contract. Your dreams of making music for the sake of making music will be turned inside out by corporate greed, NDAs, and the fine print legalese. Your revolution will not be televised. It will be live and available on demand. No, you're a survivor. These streets made you. Your skills and determination have kept you alive for this long. You chose this, and this is what you are now. So keep running on the edge. Run like your life depends on it. Welcome to Cyberpunk Red Neo Spirits, everybody. A two-night tale right here on Vorpal Tales. I am Eric, at Marone Recluse on Twitter, your game master for this awesome adventure. Don't forget to pick up the Cyberpunk Red core book, available now in PDF exclusively on DriveThruRPG, and in physical copy at talsorianstore.com and your local gaming store. I personally recommend you get both versions, as the PDF is invaluable, especially for online play, and the hard copy will look oh so lovely right next to all of your other cool Cyberpunk stuff on your shelf. While you're on DriveThruRPG, check out some of our very own Vorpal Tales supplements for sale, which includes characters, monsters, and scenarios made for some of the games we play right here weekly. For those of you who don't know, we are Vorpal Tales, and we play a wide assortment of games that fall into two categories: Awesome Adventures and Terrifying Tales. Awesome Adventures air typically on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Terrifying Tales on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, so be sure to check your calendar on our website, vorpaltales.com, to stay up to date with all of our shows. Remember to follow our Talsorian games on Twitter and Vorpal Tales on Twitch, Visit our website and find the link to join our Discord. Jump into the Twitch chat and follow the action nightly as it unfolds live. Remember, check our Patreon page at patreon.com/vorpaltales. We greatly appreciate our patrons as they help us to continue this venture into the future. We want to thank Altair Games for providing support for this highly anticipated game. As always, we want to extend a special thanks to Tyler's brother at the letter N8Mid for the super awesome character sheets he makes for our games. And also, special thanks goes out to Karl Casey at White Bat Audio for the awesome beats you're hearing right now. And lastly, we want to thank Astral Virtual Tabletop for providing a great platform, perfect for hosting most of our games and for providing excellent music for us to play. Along with our Vorpal family tonight, we are joined by some very special guest stars. Please give a warm welcome to Dixie Cochran and Michelle Light. Yay! We are super excited to have you here. Dixie is an editor and proofreader who has worked on a slew of great games, which includes Cyberpunk Red. Michelle comes to us from the fan favorite show, Vampire the Masquerade Boston by Night. Thank you both for joining us here tonight for this. Before we dive into tonight's tale, we have some runners on the edge here who are ready to chip in and ride out in a blaze of glory. Tell the good people who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Let's begin with Steve.
Hello, I am Steve. You can find me on the internet at Voodoo Arcade, and tonight I will be playing Terra, the tech. Upgrade all your items to do such nice things.
All right, Dixie.
Hi, I'm Dixie Cochran. I work for Onyx Path Publishing. You can find me most social media places at Dixie Cyanide. And because of that, I will be playing Cyanide, the rocker boy. Rocker boy is not a gender. It is just a way of life. My pronouns are she, her.
Michelle?
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle C. Light. The C stands for Crystal. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle C. Light. I'm a storyteller, role player, writer, dork, aficionado. Please refer to me as such from now on. And I'm playing Candy, your handy little med tech. If you've got an injury, let's fix it. If you don't got an injury, that might be a problem and we might need to fix it.
Excellent. Ever?
Hold on, I'm recovering. Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever and in every single delicious, terribly terrific tale that Vorpal Tales has to offer. And tonight I will be playing Vector, the solo, whose pronouns are also they, them.
Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean at Space Sword PJs. I will be playing the Nomad tonight.
Nice. Tyler.
Wow. I'm Tyler, Eldritch Echoes Online, and I will be playing Rift the Netrunner. I am he, him.
All right. Before we get started, I'd like to just go over some of the details regarding Cyberpunk Red and its setting, some of the rules before we get started, and kind of set up everything before we actually start playing, just so everybody gets an idea of like what the world is like and what the mechanics behind the world is like. So in the time of the Red, as it's called, in the world of Cyberpunk, players take the roles of edge runners or cyberpunks, highly skilled operatives who work in the shadows and often take on dangerous jobs for equally dangerous clients. They act as expendable mercenaries and deniable assets, often by large corporations, powerful governments, or just Ms. Watkins down the hall. Regardless of who they are, who they do the job for, they often do it for the Eurobucks, or the Euros. It will take to keep the lights on and survive another day in the sprawl. Red takes place after the Fourth Corporate War, which left the entire world changed in its aftermath. This was a conflict between two major Zaibatsus, megacorporations, known as Militech and Arasaka, that was years in the making. Before too long, the war had ravaged the planet and pushed most countries to their breaking points. Trans-global shipping came to a halt, the orbital colonies declared independence and hurled multi-ton rocks at the Earth from orbit, as the entire net was wiped out when Arasaka's assassination of renowned hacker Raish Bartmoss released a virus that infected nearly 80% of the network, crippling corporate and governmental entities alike. Night City ended up being ground zero for the end of the war. As a free city in a free state, Both Militech and Arasaka had strongholds in the city, and without a national government to hold them accountable, the city was a hotbed of continuous fighting between the two. Finally, in August of 2023, everything came to a head when there was a small-scale nuclear device that went off at Arasaka's headquarters in the city center. The answer to who set off the bomb is still a mystery that persists to this day, and you tend to get different answers depending on who you ask. Arasaka says it was a strike by Militech, and there are rumors that say the nuke was part of Arasaka's overall denial of area strategy. Regardless, the damage was already done. The blast itself wasn't big enough to destroy the city, but thousands were killed as the Arasaka towers and most of the city center was destroyed. In the aftermath, Militech-backed U.S. government stepped in with a force Arasaka effectively couldn't match, and the Japanese government soon convinced the private military contractor to cease operations. On the threat of nuclear retaliation against their Tokyo HQ, Arasaka was effectively banished from conducting any business in North America. A mix of debris and radioactive fallout circulating through the atmosphere, turning the sky a violent shade of red that didn't fully dissipate for almost 10 years. The global balance of power shifted away from the corporations and back to national governments, with laws being put in place to demand at least some semblance of accountability in the face of any corporate malfeasance. Ultimately, this just meant that they have to be more discreet about their operations, but it did loosen the grip many corporate entities once had over most of the world's population. As countries focus on rebuilding, the production and development of cyberware wouldn't reach the levels it was at for 2020 for nearly 30 years. This might have been quicker if the net were still around to share information, but after Bart Moss's data crash virus, it was so overloaded with rogue AIs and self-aware viruses that it was effectively written off as a digital wasteland. As the net was eventually rebuilt, or in the process of being rebuilt, a series of local, national, and corporate hubs, though nowhere near as ubiquitous as it has been, cybersecurity agency NetWatch developed something called a black wall, a digital barrier cordoning off the remnants of the old net from the one that is newly being developed. In 2045, it's in the works that they're developing a treaty of sorts between the remaining free states and the NUSA, as it's called. Night City was designated you should be expected to be designated an international free city, exempt from laws both in the U.S. government and places like the free state of NorCal. Now, onto the rules mechanics. Players generally choose from different roles that bring their own abilities and flavor to the table. Netrunners are hackers of the future and are able to jack into different networks, bypass internal alarms, take control of automated systems inside a building, and steal secrets on the database for money. Solos are hardened killers, made more terrifying with the addition of cybernetic upgrades like eyes that can see in the dark, hidden blades, and subdermal armor. Nomads are the best vehicle handlers in the world and operate on the open road in clans or families that help to smuggle people and things into forbidden territories. They are essential for how things run in the time of the Red. Rockers are futuristic online musicians that rebel and fight the power as much as they fight their own label. Fixers are the middlemen and women who act as go-betweens, the runners and their clients. They can often secure deals and equipment for their allies while brokering power for themselves in the process. Medias are your investigative reporters, media stars, and influencers who embed themselves in the seedy underworld of corporate politics and subterfuge to uncover stories so unbelievable that they have to be seen to be believed. Techs are your scavengers, crafters, and all-around maintenance people who can just as easily fix your damaged getaway vehicle as they can soup up your H&K to shoot farther. Net techs, of course, are the ones that will keep the team up and alive for the next run with their ability to treat injuries quickly and in the middle of combat. Lawmen are your corporate rent-a-cops who occasionally moonlight as edge runners and can call on backup when the going gets tough. And execs are the corporate sponsors who, through team management and corporate connections, are able to lead the team of edge runners into success. Cyberpunk Red is played primarily with a 10-sided die and several 6-sided dice, D10 and D6 respectively. Like most role-playing games, Red's characters are made up of stats and skills for ease of play. There's 3 ways to create your Edge Runner. You can make a pre-made template, which is what we did for this one shot. You can roll dice for each individual stat block, or roll once and fill in all the stats listed for that entry on the chart. Once stats are in place, derived stats like humanity and your hit points will get filled in. Hit points, like always, determine whether you're among the living or the dying. The world of Cyberpunk Red is extremely dangerous, and characters start suffering negatives to their rolls and have to make death saves once they start taking more and more damage. All characters die after failing a single death save. The basic mechanic revolves around combining a stat, a skill, and a D10 roll. Players try to exceed the difficulty of the DV, or the difficulty value set by the GM, in order to succeed in that check. In an opposed test against another player, they have to beat the difficulty set by the other character's roll in order to succeed, with ties going to the defender. Critical successes occur whenever a natural 10 is rolled on a D10. The player then rolls again and adds everything together for a total. The opposite is true when a natural 1 is rolled on a D10, resulting in a critical failure. Players then roll again and subtract the total number, that number, from their total when attacking or making a check. Modifiers will often reduce the total of what's rolled. The counter to this are luck points. The luck stat is essentially a pool of points that the players can dip into and spend as they wish on skill checks or attacks. These points help improve their total for a 1-for-1 basis and can end up saving a character's life. Luck resets back to full at the beginning of each session. Onto unskilled tests can be performed using just a character stat, though there is an exception if the character has a high education skill. This is done through something called cultural familiarity, which depends on your skill rating with education, as it were. Usually for every 2 points that you have in education, you can get 1 point of another skill that you may have that you don't actually have. So that's how unskilled skill checks turn out. If there's nothing there, we'll go to education first before we end up having to just go to a stat. Combat initiative is fairly traditional. All participants roll a d10 and add their reflex stat, or ref, to it. Ties are re-rolled until broken. In order from the highest to the lowest, characters take their turns. When all characters have gone, that completes a round. Characters have 2 things they can do on their turn: a move action or an action. Actions range from performing an attack, grabbing another character, getting into a vehicle, running, moving, which is moving again, holding their turn, and so on. All weapons, ranged or melee, have a rate of fire, or ROF, that show up how many attacks can be made with that weapon per turn. Melee attacks, for instance, typically have a rate of fire of 2, meaning melee actions taken grant 2 attacks instead of 1. This is different from ranged actions, which grant only 1 attack. Aimed attacks to limbs or the head incur a -8 penalty and incur special damage, critical injury, or effect, depending on what's hit. Depending on the type of ranged weapon being used, players will be using a single shot or auto-fire option for their firearm. With auto-fire, it's much more difficult to hit an opponent, but if you hit, roll 2d6 damage and multiply the result by the amount you beat the difficulty by, up to a maximum denoted by the weapon's auto-fire rating. Generally speaking, for submachine guns, that's 3, and for assault rifles, that's 4. So rolling high is good when you use that auto-fire skill. This number is the amount of damage the auto-fire will deal. If both dice come up 6s, you've also inflicted a critical injury, in which case we'll roll for it and see what happens. Damage rolled in this game is always xd6, with the x being how many dice are actually rolled. If 2 or more dice, like I said, come up as 6, you get a critical injury, in which case you roll 2d6 on the body or head critical injury chart. If you have armor, that damage is reduced by that much, but it also reduces the armor's protective ability by 1 each time. So be careful and use cover when possible. Better those hit points get depleted than yours. Depending on the character's wound state, the difficulty to stabilize them will be either 10, 13, or 15. Resting restores a character's body stat, per day of light work, a mortally wounded character who receives successful stabilization immediately he is healed to 1 hit point and is unconscious. Net running is different from how it was previously portrayed. Because of what happened with the net, a netrunner can't hack a system's database from their breakfast nook anymore over cornflakes. Now, the netrunner has to be within 6 meters range of an access point of where they're trying to access. This means that if you're trying to break into a building's network and affect things in or around it, you're going to have to break into the building. If that sounds difficult, that's because it is. But hey, that's what other team members you call friends are for, right? On your turn, you can take either a meet action or take as many net actions as your interface, your netrunner ability, allows. No matter which you choose, you still get to take your move action. Once you're in the net architecture, as it were, it basically works like an elevator with a fog of war. You can see and descend to the next floor down, 1 floor at a time, and encounter what's there. If a netrunner is equipped with something called Pathfinder, the Pathfinder program, they can then scan ahead and map out the rest of the network. This scan is only as good as the result of the interface roll the netrunner makes, and stops the moment it hits a password or some other obstacle with a higher difficulty than the roll. Netrunner characters can use the programs on their cyber deck to attack sentry programs or slide past them. Those are the basics you need to know for getting into a game of Cyberpunk Red. There are, of course, more rules, but we'll get to those as we go along. For now, however, let's get right into tonight's tale. Welcome to 2045. Welcome to the dark future. Actually, before we get started, are we? Hold on 1 second. Are we? Okay, no, I think we're good. Let's start with the prologue here. In the past few years, the organization known as Netwatch has noticed an uptick of activity in the old net. This activity has translated into real action outside of the net when it became known that some of the rogue AIs that roam the old net have managed to make it out into the real world, and in physical form. It didn't take long before rumors and even video feeds began showing footage of these AIs roaming around different cities around the world in cybernetic bodies. With some of them taking up arms against local governments and becoming violent, Netwatch rushed to create a new unit from its real-world division. This group was to have all the firepower of the tactical squads who still kick down doors and destroy servers infected with data crash, and the investigative arm of a detective agency. Their mission was to seek out these intelligent cyberforms and apprehend or destroy them as necessary. This was how the organization known as Turing began. Whether you join them willingly or not, you are part of this division that currently does not have an office in Night City. Because of legalities and of their relative youth as an organization, Turing has had to resort to hiring out contractors to get into places where they cannot yet go or are unwelcome, as even CSWAT has been inundated with work in trying to track down and hunt this new prey. Your direct contact for the organization is a no-nonsense corporate type named Leon Schottky, who we're going to say resembles the famous actor whose name is, I'm blanking on currently, Chiwetel Ejiofor. There we go. Schottky. You will be receiving your orders from the inspector, who is coordinating with the Netwatch office in Night City. Recently, a subsidiary of Arasaka named Yokono has had an incident occur in one of their robotic fabrication plants. Hundreds of cyberforms inhabited by rogue AIs have fled out into the open and are being apprehended one at a time. No one is quite sure where these cyberforms are heading or why, but one clue Turing was able to discover from their initial investigation was that one of their chief robotic engineers for Yokono had established a sophisticated uplink for these rogue AIs to escape to the old net and use a back door to enter into the factory's network to inhabit these cyberforms. It has currently been 24 hours since the breakout, and Schottky has dispatched you to a corporate suburb located in Westbrook, where the chief engineer stays. His name is Enrique Haas. He's 45, unmarried, and he's believed to be potentially armed and dangerous. Your mission is to apprehend him, find out anything you can about the escape of these cyberforms, and whether or not they have some connection to the ones that had previously escaped into places like the UK and China. All right. So there you have it. That's the prologue. We're going to begin in this corporate suburb of Westbrook, just outside Enrique Haas's home. The local this particular suburb is a corporate suburb in that CEOs and high value targets are considered to be living. This is the kind of place that you need to go through 3 different checkpoints just to get to where you're going, just to get in. In fact, the last time that an extraction was actually attempted here, there were something like 2 or 3 aerial vehicles that were downed as a result of the attempt. Needless to say, it didn't go well for whoever was caught in that firestorm. So this is a very high maintenance sort of area with their own security. And currently, the Enrique Haas's home, this 2-story house that it is on a cul-de-sac. The residents immediately to the left and to the right of his home have been asked to leave the home temporarily while they set up a blockade to make sure that the suspect doesn't leave. As you've arrived on the scene, Shotge is overseeing the operation on the far side of the cul-de-sac, speaking with local security. I'll begin with Dixie here. So, prior to all this, like you're arriving with the rest of these mercenaries into this Westbrook neighborhood. You're completely out of your element.
Boring town.
But this is a very different assignment that you've normally been given. You're actually riding shotgun, so to speak, with the local rent-a-cop, as it were. His name is Cyrus Jones, or CJ, as he's known. Let me show you what he looks like. I think you'll appreciate that. We'll put it in Discord for you so you can see who it is.
Okay, I'm like, where are you showing me? I don't know. There's so many places this could happen. This is all very exciting for the viewers, I'm sure. Hang on, folks. He's showing me something in Discord.
There we go. So imagine, like, if you've seen Knives Out, you know Daniel Craig does a
I have
excellent. Not. You have not. Okay, you should. Number 1, but
it's on my list.
Imagine if you had Daniel Craig with the look of Bateau from Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
With a foghorn leghorn southern drawl. Okay.
Oh, God.
The layers on this.
It's pretty accurate, though.
Yeah.
Character is an onion.
Normally you do gigs, you're pretty famous online, as it were, but times are hard, and your manager Andre has taken to looking to other stars and how they're coping with how things are happening, and what's, using others as an example of what not to do. Recently he's found that one of the biggest shows that everybody watches worldwide is one called CURS, C-U-R-S. Stands for Cops Under Review Surveillance. CJ is a former law enforcement agent, and unfortunately he got into some trouble, and so now he's on the show. Other media stars have used this to sort of catapult themselves to new heights, and it's bringing in a lot of views and a lot of money. So Andre has volunteered you. He gave you the option to partake in this particular venture, which involves you basically following CJ around and seeing what sort of and making sure, as almost like a perverse what's the word I'm looking for here? Parole officer.
Do I get to heckle him?
Yes, you do.
Yes, this is my dream job. I get to make fun of a cop.
So he's driving, this big ass car, and he's got like, he's part of the Jehovah on TV religious group. It's like some weird offshoot where it's like they instead of having like a crucifix, they have it, but it's inside of a box, and do this weird motion where it's like, God be with you, and then they go. They do like that.
Yeah, I hate this man.
Well, he doesn't try to throw it in your face. He just kind of names it every once in a while. He's like, well, Jehovah be with you. Says something like that.
That is a lot of gesturing.
It is. But he belongs to one of these weird, like, religious groups in the future, and he has a little pendant hanging, on the front of his Pontiac Pioneer, or whatever the hell it is.
This is the cop on review.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Cyrus. So Cyrus is like, he's driving you through the suburbs. You're stopping at the last checkpoint before you go in and meet the rest of these mercenaries that have been called in to apprehend somebody. He's going along with this because he's part of the corporate security outfit here that's been called in, and you're just following him around and filming him essentially.
Yep. Streaming live to my followers.
Yeah, exactly. So he pulls up and the guard's like, I want to see ID. He's like, right here. And he's like, so, you want to get some tacos after this, perhaps?
With you?
Well, I mean, if you're okay with that, I say, we're gonna try to see if we can, whatever. I think this is just gonna be a simple thing, and then we're gonna have to take a lunch break. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, as long as I can keep filming, man. Whatever.
All right. I like you, Cyan. You're pretty cool, as the kids like to say.
This is not doing anything for my image.
No controversy. He takes the ID back and he waves at the guard and he drives all the way through. The guard arm goes up, drives into the cul-de-sac, and right there at the end, there's like what seems to be like a VTOL car that just kind of comes down. The doors open up, and out steps this guy. Let me show you. Send it into the Discord. It'll just be a second.
That guy who's raining bacon? There's a raining bacon gif in the Discord right now. And yes, I say gif because I'm not a heathen.
How dare you say it?
You say it that way because you're correct.
That is correct, yes.
If you say gif, you are an abomination unto Jod.
But isn't it actually pronounced Yef?
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Get out.
No.
No, it's actually like in the time where the G would have been like used in that sense. It's pronounced like a Y. It's actually pronounced.
Anyway.
So you see this guy with a nice long gray corporate-looking outfit steps out of this car that sort of lands at the end of the driveway. There's already a couple like local corporate security guards just kind of staying back, and neighbors are out there and they're looking and they have their agents out and they're filming what's going on and stuff. And you see he looks over to you. He kind of stops, turns off the car, and he's like, "Well, I guess it's showtime, yeah."
Sure, buddy. Just do your job, man.
Okay, remember to stay at least 15 feet back. We don't want you getting sprayed with anything here. And he goes and he grabs a shotgun from the rack and he's like, checks it, readies the door. All right, here we go. Gets out. Just then, the van pulls in next to you, and then like the door slides open, and these other people start getting out. That's where the rest of you start to come in.
Could have filmed them too.
Oh yeah, check this out. Yeah. You see
These
Shocky.
weirdos.
You see Shocky waves over Cyrus and these other weirdos, as you call them, getting out of the van. And you see, he calls you over and he's like, "We have a situation potentially inside." And it's like, this Enrique Haas is a chief engineer for the Yokona Robotics Factory where the cyberforms have escaped. We believe he may be harboring one or more of them. Could be dangerous getting inside there and apprehending him. We need to do so at all costs. He's like, "I trust that you've already received your orders, your information." He's like, "Are there any questions?" He said, as he sort of like surveys the lot of you.
This just got more interesting.
Huh. And he's like, he kind of looks over and he's like, "I'm sorry, who are you?"
I'm following him.
He kind of like
He's on review.
he looks. He see. You see Cyrus gives this like shit-eating grin, like like nervous grin, and you see Shaki's unamused, just has this arrogant look about him, and he's like, whatever. And he's like,
That's about
he's
what
like,
I said.
he pulls up, he looks at his timepiece, and he's like,
Yeah.
let's get started now. He synchronizes his watch.
Oh, I actually did have a couple of
He kind of like,
questions.
yes.
Why? What is the? What are the readouts and the tech results that make us feel that there might be?
Read your report. He says, and he kind of walks around to the other side of the car.
Okay, there's. Okay, but you're this is a lot of suspicion.
Your agents all ping at the same time, like bling, 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 bling. And like when you look, you see like there's like specific information about Enrique Haas, like his house, like everything about him is being fed to you now. And the initial thing that comes up is the corporate badge for Netwatch. As Turing is a subdivision of Netwatch, they're providing information about Haas and the cyber forms, like the schematics, and like these are hard shell constructs. Be careful. Use high velocity rounds at all costs and avoid hand-to-hand contact with them.
Okay, so they're hard shell constructs that the AIs were able to get into and escape physically into the world. What, other than that he worked on the project, what makes us think there's one in there? Is there any actual readings or signals that we're picking up from inside the house?
Yes, each one of the cyber forms was outfitted with RF signal technology. Of course, hundreds of them escaped from the Yokono plant, and they sort of like dispersed out into the wilderness, as it were. There's some of them were last spotted in different boroughs of Night City. So, like C-SWAT, the Psycho Squad, has been sent out to deal with the ones that are very obviously like out wrecking shit or whatever. The other ones have just sort of disappeared and are hiding out. They wanted Netwatch, and Turing in particular wants to find out where they're going and why there was such an outburst of like over 100 of these cyber forms all escaping at once. Like this is a major security breach.
Sure.
So the factory's on lockdown. They did all the investigative stuff there, and now you're the brute squad being sent in, basically kick down the door, grab Haas, and if there are any cyber forms inside of that house, they are to be apprehended or destroyed as necessary.
Okay. So we're going more off the suspicion and possibility that he's probably housing one, as opposed to like.
Yeah, one of them disappeared. One of the blips was last seen just on the outskirts
of this place. Okay.
So he's under suspicion of harboring at least one or more.
Okay.
So they're like, be extremely cautious getting inside this guy's house. But you decide how exactly you want to approach this. He already knows, obviously, that everybody's here and they're watching and stuff. But you see, like the curtains are drawn, and like doors are obviously locked and stuff. He's not coming out.
I have another question, but I don't want to dominate the thing.
Sorry?
You might get to see some robots tonight.
Robots tonight.
Okay, this is frustrating me. You look like a green, but I'm not sure if you're a green. That's sort of taking the easy way out.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you talking to her? You talking to me? You see Cyrus
I know, you're
up.
blue.
Oh, I am? He kind of looks at himself.
I feel like it's cheating to automatically assume green.
So which one of us is in charge here? You see Cyrus kind of scratches his head. He's big, broad-shouldered dude, the buzz cut.
Well, there's
metal
one
eyes.
of you and like 5 of them, so probably.
I guess we should let them go first, huh?
I don't know. You have a shotgun. You should, and you're a trained law official. I think it would be best if you went first.
He says that. Well, so do I. But so does she. And like points to the med tech.
You're gonna let them hit a woman?
Oh, not at all. No, that would be a travesty. He says, and he's like, ma'am, would you allow me to breach the front door?
Hey, go for it, man. I'm gonna stay 15 feet back.
Yeah, we wanna. Okay.
You can see why he's blue now.
Oh, I knew that already about him.
Are the rest of you doing saying anything as the tall blonde and buzz cut is being like sort of
as the Aryan Nation cop is going into the fucking house?
Go first.
I'm like, go for it, man.
I'm just used to having everyone else go first and then come back to me if they're hurt later. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
Besides, if you get hurt, then we'll patch you up, and if you don't get hurt, then you're doing a great job. That's how.
Nomad, how did you arrive here? Did you use the company van to transport everybody, or did you come in your own vehicle? Like, do you have like a motorcycle, or what do you got going on for yourself?
So I do have like the family vehicle stock.
Yes.
And I would have a land vehicle. So if I can make that land vehicle a multi-person vehicle, I'd be okay with that.
Sure. How
Okay.
multi-person you want to make it?
Can I get multi-person to fit all of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Like a large SUV of sorts?
Yeah. Armor paneled and everything. Sure.
Right, yeah,
Do
that sounds good. Okay. Let's switch
Cool.
this engine or something.
Okay.
would
So yeah, you
imagine-
pulled up in his van, in like Nomad's like personal like armored van, as it were.
He is constantly reminding you no drinks, no eating in the car. Yeah, oh, son of a bitch. Son of a
No
bitch.
candy.
Take it to the seat when you're done. That'd be funny.
But this is bullshit. We know that rule's bullshit.
We have rules in this vehicle. It's a family car.
Use my your purple.
Wait, I'm great.
You see, a lot of people are like taking their agents out and they're filming you guys. Like, oh, what's going on? Something's gonna happen. Look, watch.
Nomad is grape.
Yeah, okay, I'll take
Great,
that.
but-
There's a reason why you're grape.
There's we're gonna breach into this house at the end
yeah.
of the cul-de-sac.
That's the idea.
I'm gonna say 15 feet back.
There's a pretty wide fence on either side of the house. Just think like, it's that kind of large fence that goes around the house. So each house has its own, sort of like personal yard space and, large fence area. So you have options in terms of like, if you want to go around the side and the back, or if you want to climb up and go through like upstairs window, whatever you want to do, you can approach it.
Okay.
There
Cypress,
doesn't
my
appear to be a
man.
vehicle. Does not appear to be a vehicle in the driveway. Just looks like a regular 2-story house, but nobody's home is what it looks like.
I think Cyrus should go in the front door.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
1, in the report that we got, what was the general security system that this guy was running in his house? And 2,
No idea.
so we don't have any information on his security system. He doesn't have any sort of registered system at all. He's an engineer, I assumed.
Yeah, so he might actually have his own.
That was going to be my second question. What's the unofficial security system that he would have hooked up? And
If it's unofficial, you definitely don't know.
well, I was hoping
Most
if
of
I
these
could.
houses have like a general alarm system where it's like, oh, it has like simple sensors on the front and backyard side of the house. So if there's any obvious destruction to like the sliding glass door, the windows, etc., a little alarm will go off, a little beeping sound. And if each house is, because it's upper scale, they have like a scanner console sort of area on the wall that shows them, along with live video footage, like, oh, this is what's happening here, and it's highlighted, etc. Like, kind of gives you like an overlay of like where the trouble spots are in the house. The CEOs have like panic rooms and stuff like that. This engineer, not so much, although he is considered a high value target because he is the chief engineer for the robotics factory for Yokono.
I'm just wanting to make sure that if Cyrus goes and knocks on this door, he hasn't hooked up some sort of trap, basically. To
Yes,
you may
explode
wanna
and make this
stop
That'll
guy.
be funny.
What if
would
it's a
be
Gatling
hilarious.
gun?
I
know,
have no
despite-
problem
That
with
will
the
also
cops
be
knocking
funny.
on the doors. Like,
But so
Yeah, y'all have been in a car with this guy for the past like 45 minutes. He wants to get tacos later.
One of the things that despite your better instincts, you kind of find yourself liking Cyrus, even just a smidge. Despite the fact that you generally hate these guys or any badge waving, corporate type, like can't stand them. He might be the one exception. He's not there yet, but you're just kind of like, oh, you're so. It's kind of like a dumb dog,
Yeah,
like,
I could
oh,
say
you're so
I
cute.
I don't know that I like him. I think I might pity him a little.
Eric, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to give us one redeeming quality about this guy. What
Yeah,
is his
because right
one
now
Daniel
he's
Craig?
terrible.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I don't care about. No, you've got to give us a redeeming quality. You've got to give us some redeeming player.
Oh man.
What type of salsa does he like on his tacos?
Daniel Craig doesn't
Fire
count because we
Force.
can't see him climbing out of the ocean.
Yes, we can't do that. No defining traits. He does like different music.
His best quality is he has no defining personality.
He's actually the one thing you really hate about him is he's really picky. Like you typically put your feet up on the dashboard. And he's like, oh please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Wait, is his defining quality that he doesn't hate tacos but doesn't like them?
No, he likes tacos and he likes hot sauce. And, yeah.
Okay.
See, there's a reason why.
There's some redeeming quality to him.
I mean, tacos
It's the blue.
is a
It's
start.
the blue lollipops. That's all it is. It's the blue lollipops.
Also, yeah, she's managed to assign him the greatest tasting lollipop ever. So that seems
Yeah.
Blue
Okay.
raspberry is pretty good, actually.
There's that.
Well, it's just also the prettiest on camera.
It pops.
It is.
So,
Good night,
Oh my
everybody.
God.
That's it. I'm done. I'm done for tonight.
We're leaving.
Okay, Steve.
No more special guests.
Okay.
We're done with
doesn't
this stream.
take long.
You know,
Yes.
I would feel really sad if the first time we have a rent-a-cop with us, it gets hurt because then they stop giving us rent-a-cops.
That's like an allowance. Yeah, this is true.
That's
Steve,
a
did you
good
wanna-
redeeming quality.
did you wanna caution-
Is that
did
it
you
could
wanna-
be worse.
Did you want to caution Cyber Foglord Leghorn from, potentially tripping a trap or something?
Well,
yeah, I would-
I do declare there, sir.
Tara is, very kind of like nervous and sort of like hold on, looking at like my handheld. Just hold on. You don't want to go through the door just yet. All right. So what we're gonna do? Okay. So this is guy. He's an engineer, right? He's kind of like me, but not as good, right? So I guarantee
know
you,
you.
he's got something hooked up in this house, especially if he's harboring one of these rogue AIs.
Robots.
Oh.
You don't want to just knock on the door. You don't want to just knock on the door. I'm thinking like a side window.
I don't
Okay.
want to knock on the door.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
gonna
no.
knock. I was gonna, when
They're-
local security's already tried to grab Mr. Haas out of his house, but he just won't oblige, I'm afraid.
You know.
So kicking in the front door, not advised.
Oh,
There could be a Gatling gun of axes, and those could
Ooh.
cause like severe damage to your tendons, especially when you think about them in the shoulder region, because that's probably where the most juicy bits are.
That would look sick on camera.
It would
Like,
look
not
unsick,
even
but
hitting anybody, just an axe Gatling gun. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, you lost me an axe Gatling gun. I went down.
Like, now I really want someone to open the door.
it could be an axe Gatling gun with flamethrowers. That way, then it would cauterize the wound while I was going through. So that way, then you could like. surround
you
them.
can,
Tara pulls out his sketch pad for when he gets the ability to invent his own weapons, and sketches out the axe Gatling gun
With
Yeah.
flamethrowers attached.
with
Right.
flamethrowers attached for
Absolutely.
cauterization only.
so, if
is
Tara
there-
wants to, they can make a check by rolling on electronic and security.
Ooh,
Which I believe
okay.
you have it at 14, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
So go ahead and roll that, and let me know what you get total.
All right, first roll of the game. Here we go, guys.
Yeah.
Crit fail.
Cyberpunk
Crit fail. No.
I believe in you.
Or a natural 10.
or a natural 10. Yeah, that's a
I
hot
love
start,
one
guys.
shots because I'm like ready to fail. I'm like ready for this character
right?
to die.
One shot. I'm like, let's just all go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 24 total for me.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, there's definitely something odd about the front door. You use one of your tools to like you put it right up against the door, and it has like a short wave X-ray ability, and you kind of like scoop it around like this around the door handle. And you're like, yep, there's a wire there. Don't touch that. You point to the door handle. He's like, oh shit, okay. So he kind of puts his back up against the wall, like the niche up against right alongside the door, and he's like, he looks to the biggest one out of all of you, which would be who exactly?
Is it the body size?
Yeah, like the heftiest, most dangerous one out of all of you.
Probably not me.
Candy immediately steps forward. If they're asking for the beefiest, I assume we all immediately gaze towards Vector.
A
Do I
body
have some,
size of 8.
do I have a backup over here?
Oh, Oh yeah, I was just gonna watch you walk in and then evaluate what happens next, so I know how not to get hit.
He sees me like sweating a little bit. He's like, okay. He kind of like gets himself ready, racks around, and gets up against the wall, and he looks around at the lot of you. He's like, why don't some of you, I don't know, go around the side, perhaps, just in case he tries to make a run for it out
No
the
one
backside.
checked the perimeter yet?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Is that like standard?
the local cops, the local rent-a-cops for the suburbs have like already gone to the other side and have established a line. Like if they come out that way, they're gonna grab him, but they're not like stepping foot in the backyard. They went around the other houses that they cleared out, and they're sort of like checking it out that way.
I go out back and help Hill out, but I gotta keep watching this guy. It's like my job right now.
Is there a
your job
garage
right
door?
now. Is there what?
Is there a garage door?
There is a garage door.
How strong does that garage door look?
Actually, kind of interesting because when you go up to the garage door, it doesn't feel very tough at all. Like you're expecting like some reinforced shit or whatever, but it's like it almost feels like aluminum when you push on it.
Huh. So like, it would be easy for a car to drive through it.
Correct.
Just asking. No reason.
Yeah.
There's probably an axe Gatling gun on the other side, though.
Possibly, but armor plating on the car. Can I drive the car through the garage?
You're gonna do that
Get
kind of breach?
mad at me.
Yeah, I feel like
You
that's...
could try.
Well-
Did you want to bring anybody with you on that, or are you just gonna do that by
No,
yourself?
I feel like just drive it through and let everybody sort of like deal with the aftermath.
You can't have a drink inside your car, but you will totally ram it through a garage door.
Well, yeah, because
Exactly. I like you.
it's
That
easy,
is just-
it's easy to replace the body parts. It's not easy to replace the fine upholstery inside. That's
What's it upholstered with? Velvet?
possibly.
No.
I mean, it's his ride, so you can do what
All
he
right,
wants with
fine.
it.
While we discussed the finer
It's a family
points
vehicle, but
of the vehicle entry of the house, I wanted to say thank you to the Conse for the raid and everyone welcome. Enjoy the red.
Do you coordinate this at all with Cyrus's breaching of the front door, Nomad?
Yeah, I would explain to him that this is like sort of more as a distraction than anything else, and also to see maybe what's in the garage, block his exit if he's going to try to peel out and race out or something like that. So
Okay, fair enough. He's like, all right, you go in, you breach the garage door first, and then I'll come in through the front door and see if we can apprehend Mr. Haas.
Right.
You let me know when you're ready, Haas.
I'm ready.
Should someone go make sure that there's no large enough windows for a body to fling themselves through at a high velocity? Or we should try to make sure that there's no, like, garden door or back door.
Yeah.
Or-
Okay.
A lot of
Windows are-
injuries from bodies being thrown through glass windows out of their own volition. The amount of run one gets before jumping through a window makes it very, very easy to get hurt without proper protection.
Question. Lollipop
Yeah.
lady.
Hi, Andy.
Oh, Candy. Hi. How many windows do you see aside from like windows on doors that are small enough that a body cannot throw themselves through at a high velocity? I feel like that's most windows. Like most windows are that size.
Where is your placement? Like Cyrus is at the front door, and I'm guessing Nomad is in his
I
car.
feel like we're all
ready
like
to
in the
ram it,
street.
but-
Like we're all like
in
kind
the
of like
middle of the
We're just at the
cul-de-sac.
sidewalk.
we're like
we're-
on the curb.
We are the most ineffective, breaching. We're just all like standing around, just like maybe he has a security system. Maybe he's gonna jump
Fantastic.
out the window.
I am 15 feet behind Cyrus on the curb.
Okay, so you're just like filming him from the curb, from the side.
Yeah, but I'm like talking to these folks, but I'm like not even watching what he's doing right now. I'm just kind of like fascinated
watch
by
the
this
vlog
group
later.
because I'm kind of bored, honestly.
Alright.
Not me, Dixie, me, my character.
Riff.
I'm having fun, Dixie.
You have something specific that you want to do, or you want to hang out with these guys? Do you want to hang back? Do you want to go in? What do you want to do?
Rift is not even standing in the same direction as the rest of you. He's looking across the street, his VR headset on, doing the Minority Report thing until someone taps him on the shoulder. Then he jumps and says, "Don't touch me, meat space is gross."
It's great.
And he'll spin around, look at the house, look at the closed door, and say, "I'm not going in there till you clear it. I'm not here to get shot."
You want to stand out back and do the thing you're doing?
Yeah, I'll come stand with you. You look like you're in a good spot.
Me?
So you're on the sidewalk with
Okay, so we're on the curb.
with Cyan. All right, excellent.
Anybody want to go out back?
How about
I mean, so what I'm gathering here is you need a professional to go in the back.
Well, I
You need a
gotta follow
professional
this
period,
guy.
but yeah.
Well, do we have to apprehend, or can I just, if he comes out, clothesline him with my katana?
You have explicit direction to shoot to kill if you feel endangered in any way. So if he shoots at you, weapons free.
I feel
Otherwise,
endangered right
it's-
now.
If you can bring him in alive, that's preferable, obviously. But
You're hurt? Okay.
yeah, exactly.
No touchy.
Touchy.
But you're yellow.
So does Vector stay with the crowd out in the middle of the cul-de-sac, or do you want to do they want to go through the back or anything like that?
Vector's gonna head in the back and take care of that similar time intrusion.
I'll
You're getting
actually-
close to the house. Give me an observation check, Ever.
Can I actually
2010.
partner up with Vector so that we're not going off on one? I figured
Okay.
if everyone else is to the front, I'll at least back her up, or back them up. Sorry, on the back. Back them up in the back.
Okay.
I'm
Sarah and
really
Vector
sad I
go
can't
to the
hang
side.
out with them.
Candy, are you going with the?
What
the
I'm gonna
tech?
do is I'm gonna try to set up sort of like my base of operation in case somebody gets hurt. Their accountability buddy can bring them back to me so I can heal them.
Accountability buddy.
Yes, the accountability buddy. Also, apparently I'm supposed to say the phrase "spooky woo."
It's best if you can
One in the
incorporate
chat
it somehow
really
into what
wanted
you're
me to
doing in
say
character.
that,
But
and
that's
so
pretty
I
cool.
get to.
Thank you for that.
Pay the bit
All right,
to get a
excellent.
spooky woo.
I don't know what a spooky woo is, but spooky.
Oh, you'll
woo.
find out.
It's the only kind of woo I know.
Um,
Spooky woo.
So on 3, Cyrus is like, "All right, on the count of 3, y'all," and like Tara, you and Vector go in through the side over here, and you kind of go in through the backyard. Roll me a perception check, both of you.
I'll leave that up to
I
them. I'm
rolled a
nervous
17.
Well, a what?
17?
Oh, that's excellent. Okay.
Mhm.
You hear a car revving in the garage.
Oh,
Cyrus
Nomad was
kicks in
right.
the door. Cyrus kicks in the door. All right, this is Turing. I mean, he yells, "This is Estrella." He says that's the corporation that hires him. Estrella security, come on out with your. And then all of a sudden there's a big blast, and he's like, "Whoa, shit!" And like part of the door just flies off, and there's a huge hole there because somebody on the other side just blasted it with a shotgun.
I'm just backing
Is it a
up to get like
shotgun?
the best footage.
Or axes.
It's like, oh shit! Just then, you guys are going along the side. You guys hear the engine roaring on the other side of the wall as you're making your way alongside the house towards the back. Just then, like the garage door, the aluminum flimsiness of that thing goes flying open, and out comes this like car, this fancy looking sports car.
Head first into Nomad's car, right?
Yeah, Nomad, you're already moving in on when he said go, so you both go doing this.
Yeah.
Everybody roll initiative.
Oh,
That's
no.
1d10
this
plus
is why you wear a
reflex.
seatbelt.
Are there seatbelts in the future?
There should be. I would have braided you one. Okay, initiative. That looks like, I can't tell if it's intelligence or initiative.
It's the double down arrow on your character sheet at the bottom, if that makes your life easier.
Oh, beautiful.
You
Thank
can
you.
always just roll a d10 too and add it to your
Actually-
reflex or REF.
I find it so much easier to just click the buttons on the character sheet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it got sent. I'll try it again.
If you hit the word initiative up in the top left, it works as well.
Yeah, that also works. As long as you're on your character sheet.
Initiative. There we go. 12.
Nice. What'd you get? Okay, so the medtech. Candy got 12. That's good. All right.
I'm okay.
Rocker got shit.
What'd you get?
10. I'm last. I'm dead
All
last.
Well, you
I
you
get
got to get all the
10.
good camera angles.
Yeah, I know. I'm
No
filming
mad.
everything before I go.
Nomad
got-
got 14.
Yeah, I got a 14.
Rift got 16. Look at you. That's good because you're gonna have to dodge a car here in a second. Steve, what'd you get?
11.
Not bad.
I forgot 18. You're rolling so well, Ever.
Oh my god, this guy just rolled at that? Oh shit, okay.
She's rolling
Okay.
that.
A nat shit? Is that an oh shit for you or an
Not
oh
a
shit
good
for us?
not a good thing. Not a good thing at all.
For you?
For us or for you?
Specific.
I'll let you figure that out here in just a moment. Excusez-moi.
Oh,
Just get
is there
the...
a thing we're doing with the chat?
Yeah, Ever's been gifted luck.
Oh, nice. You got luck
Say
points?
what now?
For your
Where
next
have-
roll, you've got
The
advantage.
chat,
Use-
the chat
make
gave
use
you
of 'em.
points.
Aw, thank you,
7.
Pinky.
Pinky, you're awesome.
Now that that's come up, Eric, how do you want to handle that?
Luck points? Use them. Same.
You want
yeah,
that
I
to be
told
luck
people to
points?
grant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
audience
I'm okay with luck
participation.
points. Luck, you're gonna need them, so yeah.
Audience participation?
How many do you want it to be?
Like a maximum?
No. What can the audience give
Right, the
us
audience
in
is
regard-
voting to give rewards, so we got to figure out how much of it they get to give. 5, 10, 50, you know. I think 50 is
How
good.
much do you care
4,000
about
Three?
these characters?
3 luck points per character? Yeah. Or a
You've
reroll,
read more of the
perhaps.
book than me, so I'm good with what you say.
Okay. Alright, fair enough.
So,
Alright, so at
Reaper
the beginning
vote it
of the
is.
round, we have Rift, actually. You go first, Tyler. You see this happening all at the same time. There was an automatic blast at the front door, and when you look, when he kicked in the door, it triggered the mechanism, and the shotgun that's set up on the chair just goes boom and blows a hole in the size of your torso through the front door. And just then the car starts flying out of the garage to be met by Nomad's own vehicle.
And we're off to the side somewhere.
You're in the middle of the cul-de-sac, unless you specifically said, "Oh, I'm off over here,"
I'm standing next to
at the
Cyanide.
sidewalk, or that's right. You're in the sidewalk with
Yeah,
Cyanide.
we're
so
near the mailbox, essentially.
you're clear of the, or at least for the moment, from the car that's jetting out of the garage.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm gonna jack in, and I'm gonna see if I can interface with the car.
It is not a self-driving car, so it doesn't have that kind of system attributed to it. There is someone driving in the front seat of the car, but it's not Enrique Haas.
Is it a robot?
Hard
Can
to
you
tell
interface
from
with the
where,
robot?
it's hard to tell with the windows tinted. It's a sports car, so you look at them and you're like, that's not that's what the hell? You catch a glimpse of somebody in there, and you're like, is that him? And when you look over at the now completely cleared front door, Enrique Haas is in a bathrobe just behind a couch in his living room, and he's got a shotgun.
I'm still gonna jack into his house, because now that there's a big hole in the door, the wall's not in my way anymore.
Alright.
And then I'm gonna res 2 programs, and that would be my turn.
Okay, so you drop in. Not much of a system. It's pretty standard. The first level would just be a password that you have to crack, essentially. You have a total of 3 net actions, unless I'm mistaken.
Which
Okay.
is going to be jack in for the first one. For the second one, I'm going to res C, and for the third one, I'm going to res Worm in preparation for future turns.
What's your meat action? Are you moving? Same put?
Nope, I can still see the real world because the internet is weird in 2045. So
It's
I'm good
basically
where
an
I'm
overlay
at
now,
unless
yeah.
the car spins this
like-
way, and then I'll move.
It's like augmented reality in other
Yeah.
games. Yeah, essentially. Okay, we have... Oh. 1 second. 11. Shit. Okay. Alright, so next goes Nomad. Drive off time, my friend.
Okay.
Roll your ground vehicle operation. It's a D10 plus that skill. This thing is going to...
I got an
rolls
18.
terribly. Oh my god. Wow. Oh, that's wow. Okay. So my terrible luck has reared its head once again. So by rolling a 1.
Nice.
So
Yay.
yeah. So you drive up as this thing's attempting to just come to a screeching halt and just jet off down the road out of the cul-de-sac, and you come in. You have the option if you want to try to head-on collision this thing and push it back, or if you just want to side swipe it. What do you want to do?
I would want to head-on collision it back into the garage.
Oh Okay, 1 second. Oh crap! I'm sorry, Ever. I forgot to write down your initiative. Okay,
Eh.
we'll get to you in a second.
I'm
I
blending
was like,
in with
okay, I
the
got
background.
everybody. Sorry.
It's
Um,
okay.
So yeah, you broadside the hell out of this thing. What are you trying to like pin it to like the house or
Yeah, or just push it back into the garage, or just somehow prevent it from driving too far away.
Okay. You stop it just as it clears like the front driveway. It tries to like snake around your incoming van, and you just kind of go nope, and you kind of hit it, and it almost fishtails a little bit, like, and it manages to spin a little bit, and it basically just comes to a halt for a second.
Nice.
Nicely done. Next, let's go have Vector go now.
So I'm all the way in the back, right?
You
You're
were
on
like
the side of
walking
the
around the
house?
back. Yeah.
Yeah, you had just cleared. You were just about to clear the garage around the side of the house. That's when you heard the revving of the engine, and that's when all hell broke loose. So you can still continue to the end of the house and like go around, because you heard a second you heard a shotgun blast through the front door. That's what you know so far.
Yeah, then I'll continue to the back and a bit faster than I already was.
You start hoofing it over there. So you have
Oh,
a
yeah.
move action, and then you have a regular action, so you can move and like try to break in, or there's like a sliding glass door along the side of the house. Do you want to like go in through the side, or do you want to like round the back and then go in through there?
I think I'm just gonna go directly to the back. Sliding glass door, and take my katana, the butt of... I used to know what it was called. I used to take sword classes. But anyway, I take the butt of the katana and I just use it to smash in the glass instead of my hands or my body.
Okay, easily enough. You just just to give everybody an idea, every round is about 3 seconds, so it goes like that. So you move up and you smash one of the windows. That's basically your round, this round. And you start moving inside the house, like the glass is crunching underneath your boots as you're basically moving inside this guy's kitchen now. Moving aside the blinds and stuff like that. You have a clear shot of him. So as soon as you walk through, he looks with this worried look on his face, and he's got a shotgun like racked up in his hand, and he's just like ducking behind the couch in the living room. Okay, Riftlet, Nomad. Now it's its turn. All right, so the car fishtails and kind of comes to a stop, and you kind of like have it in such a way that it's kind of like a joint. You kind of have it like pinned to the side, and it got up on the curb. It's not going anywhere right now. It starts treading. It tries to like hit the accelerator, and it's just like kicking up dirt. So the next thing you see is something jump through the windshield.
Oh,
And it looks like it's hard to describe, but it's like a dull gray painted looking android, for lack of a better term, mostly featureless, just like something like iRobot or whatever. This thing's leaping out of the front and it completely clears the hood, and it lands like almost near the middle of the cul-de-sac, and it starts running just like, and it starts making a beeline to the other side. You see Shotki pulls out his pistol and goes over the hood of the car and starts trying to track it. He's trying to get a clear shot. All right, so it's moving. Now it is Cyrus. Oh, sorry. Now it's Haas's turn. You see, Haas is like sees you coming in through the side, and he levels the shotgun at you, Ever, and he gets a shot off, and then tries to duck behind cover. All right. At that distance, he's gonna have to make shotguns. He needs a 15 or higher. He's not a combat expert by all means. Yeah, he misses even with that. So he rolls and he's just trying to fire at you with a slug and not an actual buckshot. So he has to be more precise with this. He fires off and you move just in time as this thing like completely takes out the whatever's left of the wall behind you, like huge hole like this. He's like,
now you've just pissed me off.
And he's like, AI rights are human rights, you pigs! He says, and he racks up another round. All right. So that's him. Now it's Cyrus's turn at the same time as... Let's supposed to re-roll, but Cyrus and Candy go at the same time.
Candy's gonna run in. She's gonna rush in. Because she heard shotgun blasts and screaming,
Yes.
which means someone could be hurt. And what? Could you please re-describe what I'm coming into here? Because what
Yeah.
I'm picturing and what I want to make sure is going on.
So the Cyrus kicked down the door. There was a mechanism there that the engineer had rigged up. It's a double barrel shotgun. Oldest trick in the book. Blows the door open, right? Ever's character comes in through the side sliding glass door with a katana in hand. They're in the kitchen. He's in the living room. You have a straight shot into the living room from the front door. He's hiding behind the furniture with like this, and he's got a shotgun at the ready.
And what is his state of dress?
He's in his bathrobe.
I wanted to make sure before.
Yes.
So I can see the fact that he's just clearly
Fully nude, holding an axe in each hand, drinking a bottle of vodka. You can't take me!
You know he's an engineer, so like, you know. So
This
anyway,
is his
that's
professional
what you see.
dress.
Yes.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? You have the right to put on pants.
You see Cyrus moves in and he tries to take a shot at Haas. He's like, "Weapons down or I'm firing!"
You have
He
the right to
misses.
put on pants.
He fires a warning shot just over Haas's head, and he's like, "Fuck you, you pig!" Goes to fire back.
Can we side with Haas?
That is your option.
Yeah, I'm not on his side about AI rights.
They never take
Never
me up on
trust
their
the
option to put on
machines.
pants.
Never trust the
They
machine.
never take that.
Now it is. Candy, did you want to move into the house, or did you want to stay on the outskirts and hold for now? Candy.
She's now that she's realized, okay, nobody's hurt,
Not yet.
not yet. And her attempt to defuse the situation with witty banter did not go well. She's gonna just go, okay then. Call me if you need me.
You're like, all right. Tara, you're right there as everything is going down. What do you want to do?
So because this guy is shooting at my friends with a shotgun, not that I disagree with what he's yelling, but that's not cool. So Vector is much better at the fighty fights than me, so I want to try to set them up. So I'm gonna actually pull out my flashbang that I keep tucked away, and I want to actually roll that kind of like to the side of the couch and have that go off near Haas.
Okay, give me athletics.
Athletics. That's a thing. Body. Here we go. All right.
You know what you get.
14.
14. Okay, that's better than normal, so that's good. It almost would be a difficult shot, and it isn't currently because you're just tossing it in. All right, excellent. So you toss it into the living room. You hear a. He's gonna make a roll, and he fucking failed it with a 1. Okay, Haas is like, ah! You hear him like stumbling around in the living room. Now it's just made him more erratic, so you hear more shotgun blasts coming from him. He's just like trying to spray the room. Back to the top of the initiative.
Nope.
Oh, sorry. God damn it. Sorry.
You got this.
Cyanide. What's
It's all
up?
good.
It's the sunglasses, I swear.
It is.
So Cyanide's been filming this whole thing going down, like AI running away. She draws her gun, and she kind of like thinks about aiming at the robot, and then she's like, didn't hurt anybody, so she doesn't actually shoot at the robot. So with the camera still rolling, she just moves up toward the house. They only got about 3 seconds. It's probably most of what she gets to do is just move up and like observe what's happening inside.
All right. So yeah, you move up. Let's see.
I got some great film though.
You do. You absolutely do. That's gonna be gold. All right. So you start moving up.
Not film. 2045.
So at the start of the initiative is actually Vector. Vector.
Vector
Take
is
your
going
revenge.
to Still see no reason to move. Because nobody's shooting at us yet. So, I'll take that actions. I will,
No, Vector, not Rift. I forgot that Rift is at initiative 16. Vector, Ever's character, is at 18.
I thought you said Rift.
Oh,
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's alright.
It's
I rolled an 18. Boom. So, after Vector finishes saying, after getting shot at, now you've just pissed me off, cracks their knuckles, and comes at him with a katana, because
Nice.
whether he's right or wrong, he shot at them, and
Yeah, game over. Alright, what are you doing? You get to make 2 combat attacks with your monofilament katana, so go ahead and roll melee, I believe. It's just called melee, I think, for you.
I
guys.
have melee weapon.
Yes, melee weapon, that's what you want to roll. Well, you can make those 2 rolls. with that.
18?
Oh, yeah.
15.
No way in hell unless he's rolling really, really high. Okay, yeah, you got him both times. Go ahead and roll your damage. He's blinded, so he's just like, what the hell?
6. Man.
And he's
5.
blinded for several rounds. Okay. Oh, you rolled. Oh wow, you only rolled 2. You rolled double 1s. On 3d6.
I'm out of my good roll luck, dang it.
Oh no!
You rolled twice because you hit him twice, so you actually end up you can end up doing you roll damage again. So roll 3d6 one more time. See what you get. This guy doesn't have armor on. He's in
Oh my god!
11.
How did you
Okay.
roll another 2 1s?
Magic. So someone in chat did point out that a bathrobe is heavy armor. So that's my excuse. I mean reason.
They just glanced.
Flak robe.
Yeah, it's that fluff
Black
that
robe,
just makes
yeah.
him look bigger than he is. So I just get the fluff
Sure.
of the robe.
It's like a lead line terry cloth robe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you cut through this guy like in 2 swipes, and he just drops his weapon. He's like, oh, he's not dead, but he's seriously wounded. And he's on the floor, bleeding out on the floor. Now someone who's been hurt, Candy. Rift.
That's actually my name. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's my name. Too much time in that space. I will use the first net action to res armor.
All right.
Then I'm gonna backdoor,
Okay.
which means I need to find buttons.
You need to beat a difficulty 17 home security system entry password first.
Wow.
He's an engineer, man, and he's high value.
As always, we have to shout out Don Arnetto for the incredible Perry cloth.
I can't with terry cloth.
Don, you're the best. Thank you.
It's a terry cloth robe.
I'll spend luck to bring that to 18, Eric.
Okay.
Thank you,
You
Don
more
Arnetto.
than handle it. So yeah, you're past the password. Did you want to run Pathfinder, or did you just want to go
Last
straight
action is
in?
going to be Pathfinder, which is also enhanced.
Oh, the combat
firearm
takes so long in
endurance.
Pathfinder.
Nice. Pathfinder slam. Okay.
Burn.
Excellent.
That's-
Password. You threw the
Shots
password?
fired.
Nothing too sophisticated here. It looks like there's a control node up ahead, but there is something guarding it. Looks like a It looks like a raven.
Oh.
You're like, wait, what's that?
Hold
and
on.
You're like, huh.
This thing did not do what I wanted it to do. There we go. It showed me the
Nice.
results, but not everyone else. I'm fixing it.
No worries. All right, so you run Pathfinder, and it's a relatively short network in the house, but there is a control node past what appears to be some sort of ice countermeasure it takes on the appearance of like a large raven that's just kind of like on its haunches, and it's like, you know. Beyond that control node has it's a smart home, so it basically has control over a lot of the different functions like the light sprinklers, fire alarms, etc., air conditioning, and so on.
That's my 3 net actions. I'll deal with the bird next turn.
Excellent. Okay. Meet action. Are you moving?
Nope. No reason to
Okay.
yet.
Staying put. All right. Next up, we got Nomad and Haas go at the same time. Haas is bleeding. He's done. Nomad, what are you doing? You're in. iRobot is taking off down the street. It's ready to jump a fence.
I want to do the whole like back out in reverse all at the same time
Nice.
and try to go after this thing.
Power slide out and. All right. Awesome. That's gonna be a difficult roll to try to run this thing down because it's as fast as like a high-powered motorcycle. But you can try it. Go ahead and roll your vehicle use.
18. That looks like a
Natural 10.
crit.
What?
Yeah.
It's a crit.
Yeah.
Yep.
What? Oh,
21.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow. All right.
Yay.
Yeah, he's not beating that. So you just want to like slam into it? Like, what do you want to do exactly? You want to like?
yeah, slamming into it sounds. Yeah, it's that kind of day. You just slam into it.
That's not very nice.
That's well, I mean, that's the job. Roll 46.
Or I guess I could wing it. No, slam into it.
It's a
Let's see what
robot.
happens.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a robot.
I'll just put it back together.
Roll. I'm sorry. You said roll what?
46.
46. Is that the damage of a car?
I mean, it's moving fast. You're moving fast.
17.
You're basically clipping it. Okay, that's not bad at all, actually. Okay. Cool.
Your card
Yeah,
is
you
doing
just
the
kind of
damage
go.
as my handgun.
You kind of like run up and go, whoosh, and like you try to. Normally, this would have crushed anybody, but this is not anybody. You kind of clip the robot. It rolls and immediately bloop, comes back up, and it just keeps running.
What?
And it kind of like with its head, it just sort of swivels and looks right at you. Inhuman eyes. All right. Next, we've got the Thing. You see, as that happens, like you kind of clip it, and it jumps on your hood, and then it jumps on top of the van. It just kind of magnetizes, lies flat. Shotki takes his shot, pa pa pa. Fucks up your van in the process, blows out your back window. It rolls off. It rolls off the roof of your car. So now you're going forward, and it's going this way now. And you're like, what the shit was that? Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. AI goes.
Who gave it the parkour download?
Cyrus and Candy go at the same time.
Played
Cyrus
a lot
is
of
not
Assassin's
wasting-
Creed.
Yeah. Cyrus is not wasting any time. He sees that, Vector has things under control with Haas, and he's like, is he down? All right. He starts walking in, and you hear a secondary, like, ba 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 from inside the house.
I told him.
Okay, I'm gonna go, and I know this is really weird, but I'm gonna try to be stealthy, and I'm gonna
Might
try
actually
to
work in
sneak
your
in
process.
during the chaos.
I've thus far rolled like 3 1s for the bad guys.
And I
Could be a
want
good
to
day
try
for you
to
all.
take away Bathrobe's shotgun.
Oh, you're gonna try to take Haas's shotgun?
Yeah, and just be like, no.
Got it, Tyler. All right. Okay. Yeah, you run up and you see he's hurt. You kick the shotgun out of the way. As this is
And-
happening, though, as you're moving in, you see Cyrus is like, no, back up, and like he holds out his hands to like try to protect you, because all of a sudden he's getting shot at from down the hallway, like the hallway that connects with the living room. That also connects with the front door, like as you enter. Like
Mhm.
there's fire coming in this way, and he's like, oh shit, and he moves out of the way just in time because I rolled a 1. And there's sporadic automatic gunfire, and the whole wall is riddled with bullets, just and like pieces of plaster and shit fly out, and you're like,
I
just
warned
happened?
you!
I know, you warned me about the door. That's something else over there. I don't know
I
what
warned
that
you
is
that there'd
over
be a
here.
Gatling gun. Nobody ever believes me when there's a Gatling gun involved.
Do you look? Do you like take a peek?
She is going to try to sneak a peek.
You like, you kind of shimmy over, and you see what's. It looks like a pillar, and but it's like a pure metal, and it goes through the second floor and into the ceiling. And there seems to be like these cylinders that kind of ride up and down, and they swivel. and what swiveled down and targeted Cyrus seems to be some sort of auto turret thing. It's not connected to the rest of the house. It's just like and it's
Built a
firing
machine gun
randomly.
pillar in his house.
It's an automatic turned elevator combo! And she just say this like really excited.
He
and
looks at you
she's
like, what the fuck did you just say?
it's so cool!
No! He's like, he leans out and he tries to take a shot with his shotgun.
And
But 9,
no,
so he hits it.
did Candy pick up the shotgun or just kick the shotgun away from bathrobe polyester man?
He barely hits it and does some damage. 1 second here. He rolls 5d6 for this shit. Oh, 12, 17, 18. All right, cool. He just like blows a huge chunk of it off. He's like, "There's a goddamn auto turret of death in here. Will somebody give me some backup?"
It's a turret elevator.
Tara.
Assuming I can hear Candy yelling, "It's a turret elevator," and I'm like,
So can the rest of the neighborhood? Yes.
and I'm just like, I've thrown out the stun grenade, and I've got my shotgun, and I just look at Vector, who I know is fighting the guy, but I'm just kind of like, what? What?
You all hear it's like.
I peek inside, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's quite a piece of machinery. You're actually impressed.
So
This guy, he really is the chief engineer.
okay, so it is targeting Candy
Whoever's-
and
You can give me a cyberware, or actually,
yeah.
Rift and you can give me a cyberware and or a security roll, whichever is better for you, just to see if you can tell like what kind of how intelligent this thing is.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is cyberware and cybertech the same thing?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. All right, cybertech. I got a 17 to identify what type of targeting thing this thing uses.
It's dumb video game AI. So basically, it's like if you have, and normally these things are slave to like higher level AI or whatever. Not this one. This one's just like if it detects that you don't have a badge on you, like the security badge, it'll shoot you on sight. Doesn't matter who you are. So if it doesn't detect that you are the person designated to be there, you're dead. This thing will shoot every single one of you except for Haas.
It'll be handled
Except for-
momentarily.
I was gonna say,
I got this.
We need to steal the bathrobe. The bathrobe's the key card.
throw the key.
The bathrobe's the key card.
Alright.
Okay. Shoot. Then, is there a power source that I can see that runs to this thing anywhere? Like a special off thing that he built in here that runs this?
Probably. Yeah, you can probably figure out using your tools like, oh, this thing runs to like the attic or whatever. Cut, you can figure out where it's
However, if you
getting
kill the
its
power,
juice.
you will physically hurt me.
Oh.
I have to jack out, or
You're
else
right.
I get hurt.
I would know that. You're right. Okay. All right, then
wouldn't.
I'll put down covering fire then, just to try to keep him suppressed is all, and wait
Move up, take a
for my netrunner to get me the.
Okay. Beat a 14 to do damage.
I beat it. I got an 18.
You roll damage.
Oh wait, no, that's 18 damage.
Yeah, you need to roll your ranged weapon.
Need to roll ranged
Skill.
weapon. Sorry. Okay. Ranged.
It's
weapon.
under ranged weapon skills. There's handgun and there's heavy weapons. but-
Shoulder.
and
It's
shoulder arms
shoulder
is
arms
you.
is-
Yeah.
This would be shoulder arms.
For
for
sure.
me.
If you have a
Okay.
shotgun, you're rolling shoulder arms. Yeah.
All right, here we go. I got an 18. Okay, so I rolled an 18 to hit, and I rolled 18 damage.
What? You hit 18 damage total?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Fucking A, that thing's dead. Yeah, you just like, okay, but because you both hit it with 2 shotgun blasts.
Yeah.
Pretty much back to back. So you see, like, you blow it the hell up on the bottom floor, and it just kind of sprays shards everywhere. Good job. Excellent. Cyanide.
Yeah, I think it's time that she finally kind of enters the house to keep up with what's going on since the just stopped.
Your viewers in there.
Yeah. And like since something just broke, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, you take a peek and it's like.
Yeah, she like comes to the front door of the thing, and she sees Haas on the ground, and she's like, what's he doing right now? What's his kind of
squirming and cursing at Vector. He's still somewhat blind. I rolled it. He's like out for like 6 rounds, basically like, can't see shit.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pretty much just tell him to shut the fuck up, and
Hey,
maybe we can spare his robot friend and any other robot friends he might have in the house, if you can just tell us what's going on here.
He doesn't say shit. Not without a very convincing roll.
That's the point. That's my character.
Go for it.
Should this be what? Let's see. I did not mean to click that. I was moving around my sheet. Persuasion, I guess. Yeah.
I believe so yeah, that's gonna be the You're gonna try to persuade. Unless you're really good at conversation and you just want to be like, so what's going on, and you try to get the information from him that way. He's not gonna come very easily, but yeah, you can give me a roll.
I rolled a 15.
That's good. That's really good. Okay, excellent.
Sorry for the other random rolls on there, folks. I was like moving my character around, and it was like, I'll roll stuff, and I was like, I didn't ask you to do that, but okay, thanks, character sheet.
You're like, these people are gonna hurt you, or you're gonna, you're in big shit. You're in big trouble.
I rolled a 0 in photography, so. No.
He's just like, it's just me and Jupiter. Jupiter? What the fuck?
Is that the one that my friend just hit with their car?
He looks like, he has a worried look on his face. He's trying to like figure out where you are, where the voice is coming from.
There was a robot in a car. It ran away. My friend hit it. Well, not really friend. This guy.
Don't hit him! Don't hit him! No! Don't do that!
It already happened, man. He seemed okay. I mean, he's a robot, right?
He's no. I mean, Haas is not. He's not cybernetic at all.
No, I'm talking about the guy out front that we hit with the car. He's fine.
Oh, yeah. Relatively speaking, he's okay. All right. So you. Actually, now is the new round. Last round, probably. Vector. It looks like you have things under control. The firing has stopped in the hallway. Haas is, still is disarmed effectively. Is there anything specific that you wanted to do?
Oh, well, that's disappointing. I was hoping something would still be firing.
I mean, you can still stab that guy if you want, but it seems excessive at this point.
And it'll be on camera.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Whatever an agent looks like, I don't actually know. I'm just doing phones. That's what we're used to.
I'm gonna drag him outside.
Cyrus is like, yeah, go ahead. Drag him outside?
We're just gonna drag him outside. If he walks, he walks. If he falls, he falls. And
Cyrus grabs the other side of him, and like, with one arm under each one of his arms, you both like lift him up and drag him outside. Presumably where Candy and the rest of the crew are located, so he can get treated and get properly placed under arrest. Okay. Works. Rift. Last round, buddy. What are you doing?
Red sword, which manifests as a giant-ass cloudbuster sword, but way more metal than there needs to be.
Yes.
And then I hit the raven with it.
Nice.
I don't stab it. It's more of a bludgeoning weapon.
I approve. Go for it. Raven. Okay. To hit defense. Let me roll its defense. I rolled a 3. That's funny. Okay, what'd you get total?
An 11, so I beat a 3.
Yeah, easily. Okay, roll your damage.
Poor Eric.
17.
Oh, you're meant to.
Oh man,
roll over these guys.
that's
Don't worry about it.
almost max damage.
I know, but you rolled so many like 1s and 3s. And
That in
shit.
one shot, homie. It only has a res of 15, so like you instantly just flatten it. Interesting. After you finish with it, the next immediate floor down is a file.
First, I disable the home security defense systems that are trying to shoot my coworkers.
There's nothing actually piped into the home defense system. He did that on purpose, but you do manage to like switch off any like loud alarms or anything like that. Anything that might prove to be a trap or anything like that. You don't know what he's done with the place. So you effectively kill anything that's wired or whatever that's linked to the home system.
Turn on the sprinklers too, because that should mess up the Gatling gun pretty good.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see here.
And then I will ID the file.
It looks to be a digital file of some sort. It is an image. It looks like a digital pamphlet. And it's, let's see, read you the description here. The image attached shows a semicircle of human beings with cables and wires coming out of their heads, connected together and around a central android-looking figure with light coming out of its machine mouth and eyes. It talks about unification and a merging between man and AI inhabited machines. A merge that, according to Mithras, M-I-T-H-R-A-S, will open the door to a more united future for the world. It won't give a specific location. It doesn't give like come here or whatever, but it does have a weird URL, like a hyperlink. You can give me interface, whatever your highest net ability is, and roll a d10. Instantly
skill
what that is.
or just net running, because those are very different.
Just roll net running and let me know if you got anything over a 13. You can use luck points for it if you like.
With net running, not even close. You don't get a lot of numbers to that.
I know. What'd you get?
8.
Did you want to spend points or no?
I don't have enough luck left. I already burned 3 of 7.
You can also run. Sorry, I forgot this. You can run library use. I forgot that was a skill. Library search.
Might have that. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
That's
Yeah,
the one
23.
That was the one I was forgetting. I'm not used to that one. Okay. Yeah, what'd you get total?
Natural 10, 23.
So this link doesn't go anywhere. You like run a quick search using one of your net actions, and it's like this link goes nowhere. And then you realize like this link doesn't go to anything current. This link goes to the old net, which means you can't access it using what you have right now. Hold on that. Rift after Nomad.
Mhm.
The android has taken off down the street. It's a chase now down the road towards the. It seems to be going to like the checkpoint, or it's like jumping hedges and stuff. How much do you want to fuck up your van?
I mean, fucking it up's not good for the family, but it seems like that's the only way to get it. Then sure, I'll fuck that sucker up bad.
Okay, go for it. You see, Shotki managed to get a shot off of its shoulder. Didn't do much though. Before it just rolled off of your van completely and took off. So he gets in his spinner and he's like, starts coming up behind you. Go ahead and give me a roll to see if you can catch up.
Okay.
This motherfucker rolled a 9? Okay. What did you get?
Yikes.
A natural 10.
A natural 10.
Yeah, I got another natural twin, so that's
Holy shit, you're on fire. Okay.
Yeah.
Not
All
literally,
right.
hopefully.
So
no.
this time it's the 3 strikes and you're out. He jumps the hedges and he starts making in between like the palm trees, and he looks like he's like gonna scramble up a wall like easily and jump the fence and get to the other side to like get out onto the one of the outer rings of the suburb to try to get away, making for the highway. It doesn't get there because you essentially crush its legs underneath the front of your van. You're just like, and there's like a clack, 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 and you see like the android just kind of like bounces, hits, and like kind of lays on the ground like this. Shotki comes in from above. There's like a little bit of steam there. The door opens up. He steps out. And you see the thing's like crawling on its arms like this, like trying to get away. Half of its body is like completely destroyed, hanging off the side on the bottom of your van. And it says, as you can hear it, as you come to a stop and you turn around, you get your weapon ready. You hear it. Why do you hate? And then there's he's trying to say like, why do you hate us so much? And then but he doesn't get to finish the sentence because there's a shot that rings out, and it's like slow motion, man, right in your face. Like this thing goes. The thing just explodes, and bits and pieces of wiring and metal and plastic go flying out of its head.
Oh wow.
And this is where we take our break.
Didn't want to kill it.
Oh, my
Now I'm
goodness.
sad.
I was right about the Gatling gun.
You were.
My
You may want to
ride,
bring
but-
a box of tissues.
All right, viewers, we're going to take
The
a
last
10-minute
part.
break. According to the GM, we'll be back at about 11:01 Eastern Time.
everybody, to Cyberpunk Red Neo Spirits. Where we left off, we had just gotten into our first combat where the crew, as it were, breached the home of Chief Engineer Enrique Haas, and they chased down the cyberform that had run away that was hidden inside of his garage, evidently, and tried to take off with the sports car. Nomad sufficiently ran down the android, as it were, and crushed it underneath or its lower form, at least underneath his family van. And Haas was chopped up by Vector's monoblade, left bleeding on the floor. He was eventually brought out and patched up and, prepared to be arrested. Shotgi, the lead investigator for Turing, came up in his spinner and in a assist to Nomad, instantly shot and destroyed the runaway cyberform before it could do anything else. After that little situation, Shotgi rounds all of you up, and he's like, or at least he takes the spinner back, and he tells some of the corporate security cops to pick up, to set up a perimeter around where he blasted the android in the head. And he goes back to you guys, and he's like, I'm taking the machine to the local Netwatch office. He's like, but first we're going to have to check the house. Any information that is inside belongs to us. Understood? And he looks to the Netrunner in particular. Rift, I understand. I need you to go through any records that Haas kept. We need to understand what motivated his desire to cavort with these types. And I need you to do, and want any information, any and all information you need to provide to me immediately. So we need to set up a motive and any other intel that we can about these cyberforms and what they're doing here. Perfectly understood. Looks around.
Are there any other levels to the architecture?
No, it's a very small architecture. He just put a small ice in there to basically keep any would-be hackers out. 13-year-olds on their agent playing around. Get the fuck out of here, kid. I'm gonna brain burn you.
As one of the people who was close to him when he opened fire, I would just be like, I think, if you were listening, you might know. We might, one of those true believers in something. Might not be anything more than that.
Do you have intelligence regarding Haas and the cyberforms?
Well, he yelled, AI rights or human rights.
We already knew that he was a sympathizer of sorts. It's unimportant for what we need to do next. We already had that information.
Rift looks at the corporate guy and the police officer next to him and makes a very deliberate choice. Sorry, he dumped and deleted everything before we could get in there, and then I stealthily upload the file to Cyanide's databank.
That's going to be a hell of a roll. First of all, to bluff the lead inspector on the case, right in front of him. Go ahead and give me a roll. Persuasion, I believe that is what that's going to be. Shotgi's no joke.
Candy's just like, do I bring up the Gatling gun? I was right about the Gatling gun. I know. I'm going to keep this I was right card in my back pocket.
He's going to roll his human perception skill, Tyler. You want to guess what that's rated at?
2.
Mine's real good.
I was going to say 2.
I'm not very human. I'm okay with this.
What did you
Hello,
get? And would you like to spend any luck points on it?
No, I'm good.
Cool. He looks at you. He peers into your eyes as he says that, and he's like, that's unfortunate. Give me what you have, then, he says, and he holds out his agent for you to basically, laser wire the stuff into his personal data pad, as it were. Oh, sorry. Everybody has an agent. It's the equivalent to, this in the future, but it does a lot more than just make phone calls. It's kind of like everything. It's like a personal computer and so on and so forth.
Like this.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Like
It's
the
just
same-
it's usually
same
bigger
thing.
though because it's basically like a tablet-sized, device.
So I got a 19 on the persuasion roll, and then I upload
That's a really good roll.
what happened, except for the file is corrupted in this version of it.
You give him a corrupted file. He
Yeah.
just looks at it and he's like, shuts down the AI, tucks it away in the inside jacket pocket, and he's like, if you don't mind, I'm going to conduct my own investigation inside the house. You're welcome to come along.
Be careful of the Gatling gun.
Kind of looks at you sideways.
It's
goes,
the Gatling gun elevator. I was very fascinated by it, but I'm not sure if there's still any bit of it lingering.
You see, Cyrus is like, I think we shot that thing to death. Inspector Shotki, you're not gonna need me any longer, right? And he's just like, you stay, he says. And he's like, I need to find out what we have first.
Yeah,
How
this
much
is good
information?
material, Cyrus.
So I was gonna say I specifically did want to go to the machine gun elevator and start going through the bits and start collecting scrap and bits and pieces, and like this seems like a pretty cool piece of tech. So as the tech, I want to get in on that. So
I'm not even gonna make you roll because it's pretty obvious what he did. You see, like you start looking at the wiring and you're like, shit goes underneath the house. Like he drilled it, bored out an area, and there's like a backup generator on there that basically clicks on if any like there's a fail safe basically, so if any power gets cut off, it gets turned on and it starts operating. So the whole house could have been depowered and that thing still would have been riding up and down shooting people.
sure.
So yeah, this guy knows his shit. Shotki goes through each room methodically, just turning over everything and starts going through drawers and stuff like that. He has his own personal terminal at home, his own personal computer, and obviously he's just like, he takes it and he actually starts taking his own stuff out and starts plugging them into him to basically start like running searches and checks for any specific files, anything that calls out to, about anything.
Hey, nerd!
So
Candy wants a piece as a souvenir.
Candy
Oh.
also yells out to the commander who's currently going through the computers and stuff. Can you also bring me a pair of pants from his room? If we're gonna take him to, if we're gonna book him, we're gonna give him pants first, because I swear to goodness, if I have to go through this again.
She's yelling from the other side of the house. Shotki looks around to see if there's anybody nearby, and he's like, "You come here." He points to Cyrus, who's just kind of there, like, "What do you want me to do, boss?" And he's
slight retcon if we can.
"Sure."
Once he declares he's going in the house, instead of jacking out immediately, I'm still gonna upload the file to Cyanide, the media person. But I'm staying jacked in because there was nothing else in the architecture, so I'm gonna drop a virus at the root level that will cause catastrophic damage to the architecture itself, making it unreadable. And then jack out.
Nice. You're like, bloop. Okay.
How's this guy's car? Is it a nice car?
The sports car, it's fine actually. You kind of spun it out of control. You hit the wheel well in such a way that it needs to have its brakes and alignment adjusted because how hard you hit it. But otherwise it's in perfect condition. Now, of course, sans windshield, of course, but nice
yeah,
ride.
No man calls dibs on that.
You're like, "Well, you puppy." You're like, "Hey, bring the tow truck."
Yeah, he actually called. He's like, yeah, calls it in. I found a replacement.
Yeah, Shotki doesn't care what you do with any of that stuff. He's not interested in that. He's interested in what the motivation here was. So he's methodically going through stuff. Are any of you doing anything specifically while this is happening, beginning with Vector?
I'm going to see if he has any hidden weapons, any tactical things that would indicate hidden vaults or traps.
No, a lot of the stuff, surprisingly, with the exception of the elevator thing, the Gatling elevator, he looks to have rushed this. So it actually, and when you actually look at his belongings along with Shotki, you both come to the same conclusion. He was packing up to leave. So him and this cyberform were supposed to bolt out of here, but something must have delayed him, or something must have happened to keep him from getting out of there. No other arms besides just the shotgun that he had. It's a regular sort of pump action. The sawed-off shotgun is illegal. It's not registered, whereas the other one was. And he had hooked that up to the front door as a very simple trap, like nothing spectacular.
There was no tactical planning for this thing. It was simply rush.
It reeks of desperation of of him rushing stuff. Rift, you already got what you wanted to do. Nomad, you're calling in a tow truck. Cyrus is just kind of like waiting to be called on. He doesn't typically do investigations. He just kind of kicks the door down and arrests people. So he's waiting on the sidewalk with Haas, and Haas is just kind of like miserable. And the ambulance comes in and they check him out. The med tech's there, and they're like, "Oh, he's already taken care of." Like they look at Candy like, "Thanks." It was like, do we need to book him, or some of the other cops? And Cyrus like, no, we're under orders to make sure we keep him until Netwatch is ready to have him. I don't know why. That's just what the Turing guy said. And they're like, all right, sure, we'll hang back then. If this guy needs anything, we'll be here. Candy.
She's gonna talk to her new patient.
Are you gonna sit down on the curb and like offer him a lollipop?
She's gonna be the best grief counselor she can be, because she doesn't have a pamphlet for the 7 stages of you lost your robot AI best friend. But close second.
Okay. Do you have conversation as a skill?
Let's see here. It would be under social. Yes, I do. I have I have 6 levels in it.
Pay attention. This is exactly excellent. Go ahead and roll that.
I don't know if it's sent. Hopefully it's sent. Is it magical? It's an 18.
It's gonna be magical. You guys have been on fire. Like, that's an 18? Good God. Okay. Yeah, okay, sure. you chat him up. He kind of like shyly looks away from you like, oh gosh. And he's just like, how do you approach this? Or what are you trying to get out of him, and how do you
She's trying to understand his point of view, potential motive, but also make sure that, because the treatment of the body, one of the first steps is the treatment of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna make sure he's gonna be on a good recovery physically, but because if he dies on his way to the place, and it's it's gonna look shoddy on my medical work, and I don't want the stupid hospital people to think I'm as. But she wants to know. She wants to know more. She wants.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand that you were harboring's a rude word. You were letting a robot couch surf that shouldn't have been on your couch.
It's only illegal because they made it illegal.
Okay, there's a lot of things illegal that aren't supposed to be.
How come that's okay, but that wasn't? And he points to this somebody's agent or whatever, and how it handles things automatically, and he points to a stretcher. Not really a stretcher, it's a bag that that android's in there. The Netwatch guys are here and they're picking up pieces and putting them in a
let's
stack,
just
essentially.
turn you away from that. Nobody wants to see the bits of different. Okay, so
he makes eye contact with you for a second, and he seems you seem empathic enough to him that he's just he starts opening up a little bit on the sidewalk with you. He gets a little teary-eyed. And he's just Jupiter was a real friend. He was more human than some people I actually know.
A lot of people here can say that what happened today was a tragedy.
You're right. It's not right. These people are evil, he says, and obviously motioning towards.
Sometimes bad things happen that we have no control over. And that's not your fault. You can't blame yourself. I am kind of upset at you for shooting at my friend, but that's you were trying.
You don't understand. I'm not gonna be part of the convergence anymore. This is all over. This whole thing is a terrible illusion. We're trapped here in a god-awful place. Yeah, and he kind of catches himself.
Do you have a pamphlet for this? Because normally I have pamphlets.
Nobody uses pamphlets anymore. I did. Jupiter gave me one. I don't know what I did with it. I probably left it on the network.
Okay, Jupiter. Okay. I'm going to be a good friend because this is what friends do. I won't tell anyone about your pamphlet.
All right.
I mean, I'm building trust with the client.
It's working. It's definitely working. He like leans on your shoulder and kind of cries a little bit.
There.
Tara.
There.
Tara? So Tara wants to be looking through the machine gun elevator, pulling out scraps and bits. Basically just want to build up my resources that I would need to ultimately build stuff later on. While this is going on though, and Candy is making all this progress that I eventually assume Cyanide will swoop in and take massive advantage of. But I would like to just kind of intercede and just be like, while he's like almost crying, talking about his best friend dying and pamphlets and remembering, I just want to reach in and be like, so what optical hardware did you use to make sure that your targeting system went ahead and accessed only, just start asking him very technical questions about his machine gun elevator at the most, right? Just go ahead and tell me I just need to know this optical hardware because this seems a little...
If you have persuasion or conversation, you can roll that. It's gonna be very difficult, obviously, but feel free to spend luck points if you like.
I don't even want this to succeed. I want
Watch this be the moment you roll a 10.
I'm so sorry your friend got shot in the face. By the way, what did you use for the system upstairs?
Why didn't you teach your robot? Why didn't you teach Jupiter wear seatbelts? All of this could have been avoided if Jupiter wore a seatbelt. Gosh darn it!
Like what?
I rolled a 12. I mean, you know what? Why not? I'll spend 3 luck and bump that up to a 15 and
15?
See how that goes.
He's in the flow already of the divulging things. So he's just like, I just use standard cabling. I use this, and I hooked up the fiber wire to the downstairs, and it just goes into all these technical details.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Great. Yeah. Sketch out a little thing real quick. Okay, so I can just route that right into that, and then I can thanks.
Cyanide.
Yes.
You see, Cyrus is just sitting on the curb watching this guy cry into the medtech's shoulder.
Yeah. So I am like standing right behind Cyrus, so I'm framing it. So I'm still watching him because that's my job right now. But I'm really like focused on crying man and medic because that's obviously the interesting footage right now, not man, Mr. Random Man.
Man
He's
eats,
doing nothing.
Man eats what's the word for a van that serves food?
Snack truck.
Man eats snack truck's taco.
That's kind of dirty.
Tacos are later. But but no, yeah. So I'm focused on them, and so like as I see him start to break down, I'm gonna kind of step in and just be like, "Hey, buddy, you want to tell the viewers more about how you feel on the subject? Like, I'm sure you want to get the message out."
You're recording this live?
I'm recording it. I didn't think it was live because it's for this Kurz show. I'm assuming that they edit it.
Yeah.
Although I will still have the footage for later if I want it. So,
cool. Yeah.
And I've also seen the pop-up from Rift, the little like notification that was like, you have a cloud drop from Rift, and I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, you stashed that away. You what do you ask him specifically? Like,
I just like what he wants to share with the people. If like what's going on here. Like I had no beef with that robot. Jupiter seemed cool.
Do you have like a video camera, or are you recording this to like a Cyber Eye or something like that?
I don't think I have a Cyber Eye. I have like an audio recording device.
Okay.
So I'm probably recording the audio for myself, but I think I'm recording everything else through.
Oh, genius.
I have a video camera and an agent. So probably just my regular camera is what I'm using to record it.
He sees the camera. He's like, You need to stop them. These guys are fascists. Okay, they're coming after the AIs. They're gonna shut everything down. This is all. The party's coming to an end. You see, and you see the Netwatch guys are just watching this, looking at each other, and they're nodding. And they're like, sure.
Wait, so like those guys right there who you're calling fascists? And I like
yeah, he's pointing to like Netwatch and the Turing guys, and he's like, yeah, man, they're gonna shut us all down. These guys are terrible. They're killing them. They're killing them all. It's like this is genocide. And you see, they don't move to stop them or anything like that. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you've got to calm down a little bit because no one's gonna trust you when you're just.
He sees
screaming.
the camera and he's like, you gotta stop him. He's like talking directly into the camera, and it's like, they're not gonna stop it, just us. You don't know what you're doing. Like,
Us.
no, he's talking about them. Like, yeah, they're gonna do this to us. Yeah, we're next, man. We're all next. Like, he's just like, they're gonna come for those AIs. And you know who they come to next? They're gonna come after you. And he's like pointing at the camera, like.
All right. Do you want to tell the audience anything about Jupiter?
Yeah,
Is
Jay.
Jupiter your friend?
Juice. Yeah, I mean, we were gonna converge and everything was gonna be great. Mithras told us all about it, and like he's just like you all, between all of you, he starts like pouring everything out, and they're just watching. They're just letting it happen.
But
Eventually,
he was gonna converge with the AI robot.
Yeah, what does
I
that
don't think that's what a USB port is for.
Yeah, this got
It's
really
the
weird.
output.
Technically
There's the
speaking, I
input
don't
and-
understand this.
okay,
Hey man, what do you mean
you
by
s-
converge? Who's Mithras? What's going on here?
you start trying to tease that information out, and just then this bit you hear, the tow truck starts going into the into the cul-de-sac, and you see this guy gets out with a bandana, and he gives you the "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Hey, where's the car that you were calling in? Family's interested."
It's in the garage. Hold on, I want to go ask this guy a question first.
All right, and he's like, "Oh, is it this one over here?" He points at like the purple sports car and shit.
Oh, it's a purple sports car? Fuck yes, it's the purple sports car. Duh.
He goes over there. He's like, "All right, oye, Miguelito, vámonos!" And he like starts backing up the tow truck to the car, starts hooking it up. You get one question that you can ask him before this next thing happens. Go ahead.
Hey, so do you think that you could put an AI into a car?
Yeah, man. I mean, just get me out of here. He says, he like holds up his hands. I'll do whatever. Just get me out of this. And you see, eventually, they start hooking up the tow, and you hear, "Hey, you can't do that. Get out of here." And you look back, and you see your buddies are getting told off by the Netwatch guys to leave the area immediately. And he's like,
it's a purple
you see
sports
one
car.
of them,
That car is my car.
One of them like listens to an earpiece. Is like, "You too. You come here." And he points to Cyanide. Two guys come over.
What?
Two suits, touring agents. They're just like, one of them holds his hand out like this. "We're done here. Shaki's finished with his investigation. Hand it over."
And whatever.
"Official investigation," he says. He grabs the video camera and he starts to wrench it out of your hands.
No, I work for Kurz, and you need to
I
talk
don't
to their
care,
legal
he
team.
says, and he just sort of yanks it out of your hand. Do you let
Touch
him?
her.
I try to yank it back. I am on assignment.
I
You see
pull out my
Cyrus stands
katana and I chop off his hand.
You wait. Cyrus stands up and he's like, "Now hold on a minute, sir. You leave her alone." And he's like, "That's our property, courtesy of Kurz." And it's like, Estrella hired me to do this job." And you see, just as things are starting to escalate, Shaki leaves the house. It's like, "It's all right, gentlemen. I'm deputizing you," he says, and he points to Cyrus. "You're coming with me." "Well, I'm sorry, what's happening?" "You're coming with me," I said. "All of you."
That makes sense. I have a contract. I've got to keep filming this guy for as long as he's out. So.
You see, he's like, "Well, wait, I don't understand. Where are we going?" He's like, "We're going to Netwatch offices in Night City. Pack up and get ready."
Ooh, I
He's
love
like-
Night City.
Well, you're in Night City. It's just like, this is like the northern suburbs.
Yeah, but it's
of
way
Night
better
City.
than this shit.
You're
Like we're in the
going
suburbs
into
right
the
now.
city.
I want to go to the city.
Yes. Oh, good point. Yeah. He gets
Like
into spinner. and
we're in Staten Island and we're going to Hell's Kitchen, and I'm very happy about this.
There you go. Yeah, like a perfect analogy. So, you see the Netwatch guys confiscate the car. It's like, "Official investigation. Get out of here." And he's like, "Hey man, I don't think you understand my buddy here." And he's like, "I don't care about your buddy. This conversation is over. Get
Oh.
out."
Can I go up to this guy that won't let me have the purple sports car?
Yeah. He looks at you. He's like, "What?"
So look, I wrecked my ride catching this thing. Like, this is just a car. Like, this is my compensation. Can I?
It's a nice story. Tell it to somebody who cares.
What about the
Can I-
removal of the hand we skipped over?
All of that
Wait.
hand.
Ever said they were gonna whack a hand off?
Everyone was ready to take someone's hand off if I didn't get to keep the camera.
Yeah, no, that would have That would have been bad.
I feel like this is a lot more tense of a situation. Like if we were all out there, I was holding up the thing, and if that goes to start happening, I'm also kind of like queuing up. I've got my
Oh
shotgun.
yeah, no,
too.
everybody was like
So
reaching
there's
for
there's
their
a
shit.
whole standoff happening right now. And
Uh-huh.
then, yeah, so I'll
So
still.
Shocky came out and he's like, "That's enough."
Sure. But one, I have to go back to my workshop because I've got things that I've got to do. I'm not like, what's going on?
You're
I'm not
coming
going
with us.
Okay, hold on. But then I'll look at Nomad. That's his car. That's his. That's. We did a job. We got.
He looks at the agent. He's like, "Registered under Enrique Haas. Doesn't have. What's your name?" Look, yes, Nomad.
Enrique Haas?
Yeah. Okay. Take it somewhere else. He's like, take it somewhere else.
I just look at the car and I look at Enrique and I'm like, do you think you're Prince?
He just ignores you. It's curious though that Shocky like just said, "Let her keep the footage. It's fine." And he just keeps going.
Oh, you let him keep the footage, but you won't let us keep the car? Come on, I want the car.
Well, the footage is Kerr's property. It's not whatever this is property.
You see,
I lean into Rift because Eric, I don't know if you are aware of this, but your story is now about this car. So this is
if nothing else matters, it's
I
an
got
old
different
Ford
lights for this.
Firebird, and it's yeah.
So I lean into Rift. Hey, Rift. Hey. So you're still into this node, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you just change that registration to read? and I look at Nomad, and I'm like, whatever his name actually is, I don't.
So in order for him to do that, he would have to go to the records, be within 6 meters of it, and go change.
Oh, he
Nomad's
has to be
name
near
to
that
Enrique
specific
Haas.
node. That's right. You're right.
Welcome to the
Okay.
red. Yeah,
Yep.
it's different now.
You're right. Yeah. Shoot.
So yeah, it was a nice idea though.
Yeah.
I'll give you points for that. You see, Cyrus is like, well, if we're gonna go to Netwatch, well, I'm confused. What are we doing over there? And you see, Shocky's like, just follow me. He says, and he gets in the spinner, and he's like,
I'm supposed to go do some stuff with the helping people stuff. Like I had plans after this.
you see the Netwatch guy's like, yeah, I had plans once too. Pack it up and let's go.
Yeah, that's great, but you're
Busy.
a suit and we're not. So
Walks away.
We're not
listening.
fine.
That's
fuck
the
off,
same
man.
thing I do. I turn around and walk the other way,
Yeah,
not
like,
listening.
it's
I
a-
don't work for this fucker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we're contract agents and we don't have a fucking contract with you. So
You
get
were
the van.
you're contracted under Turing, and if Turing says you go here, that's what you have to do. Contractually, anyway. You don't have to do that, but that's what he's telling you to do. Now, Rift, please give me an interface roll.
Oh, gosh, darn it.
For what purpose?
You get. You'll find out here in just a second.
Have your brain explode.
This may have a modifier, but we'll do it without the modifiers for now. You can tell me.
All right, you just need like a 10.
Yeah, I'll spend a luck point for that.
Okay. There's another netrunner here.
No, I would have had a +2 to that, so that's an 11 without the luck point. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's what you get. There's somebody else that's here and that is digging around, but they've sort of left a trace. Like they just kind of ruffled through some stuff, and then like the signal just disappeared, just like poof, gone. As the Netwatch people are leaving, one of their netrunners is on site.
Yeah, they're not going to find anything because I wrecked the infrastructure, so I don't care.
Okay. What do you do after this? Shotki's leaving, Netwatch is leaving, they're going to the local offices in the city. That's presumably where Haas is being taken as well. They put him in the ambulance, and the ambulance follows Shotki's car out of the suburbs.
Candy's gonna be like, well, if they're gonna make me go, I'm gonna go my way. And she's gonna try to be like, excuse me, I'm the authorized med tech, and I demand to escort my patient in case of further damages.
There are some burly-looking SWAT guys that are basically setting up like a perimeter around the car and the house, like they're just putting police tape basically to keep everybody out. They're standing guard with a couple squad cars nearby.
And just tiny, bouncy little Candy, just like, I'm official and have official business to escort my patient
They're just like,
and a moral obligation.
the ambulance is not Netwatch, so you're okay to actually ride in the ambulance with them all the way to the Netwatch offices. But once they get there, he gets dropped off and they go somewhere else.
She is going to try to stay with them over to in the ambulance.
He was so well patched up that they're actually superseding their rule to actually take him to the hospital to be checked out. It's like, no, we don't care. It's
Can
like,
I
we're
ask-
taking him into custody.
Can I ask a quick clarifying question?
Yeah.
So we are all contracted by Turing. We're Turing agents basically, and Turing's the one that's now deputizing us and sending that we're going to the city.
Not me,
They
though.
deputized Cyrus.
so that's-
and by extension,
Oh,
Dixie's character,
okay.
Cyanide, yeah.
So that was kind of my
I'm a
clarifying
deputy?
question. As a
Sort of.
group,
Assistant deputy.
as a group, how well do we
Assistant
know
to the
/ work
regional
with each
deputy.
other? Is Cyanide just like a totally new person we've never interacted with before?
Never
or-
interacted with Cyanide, never interacted with Cyrus until today.
Although y'all might, some of y'all, depending on if you're into
Might have
like
seen him.
DJing and music, might know who I am.
Sure, yeah, because you're probably pretty popular as a.
If Cyanide plays, you might recognize the music. Or if you're a big watcher of Curs, which is the the equivalent of
Right.
cops in my made up thing.
So
yeah,
but
you probably
Rift.
know
See if, I
Cyrus
can,
somehow.
see if I can actually do this. If Rift, Terra, Vector, Candy,
Mm.
who am I? And
Nomad.
Nomad.
Nomad
We
the
all-
Nomad.
We all work together, right? Like, and generally know each other.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So you guys are a group, and they're sort of apart.
Okay.
And I'm assuming we have some sort of like group line. A group like
So
Facebook.
that-
Yeah, you all
that's
look.
kind of my point for the question. Because if you're riding in the ambulance with this guy,
Mhm.
I kind of look at everybody else and I'm like, I guess we're going with him.
You do what you do.
We're gonna be we're going on our own terms, and I want to make sure nothing bad happens to this guy on the way there.
Riff, do you mention anything about that file or what you found to the rest of your compatriots
Not
on
yet.
the way to wherever it is that you're going? Okay.
I
Make
tell
sure you
them.
get
I
out
tell
of
them.
earshot.
I tell them. You guys have fun with that jackass. I'm going to have lunch, but I'm actually going to go secure the file and remove it from my deck.
As,
Okay.
as
I'm not
folks are
taking that back to
piling in-
Netwatch.
Good
As folks are
idea.
piling into like vehicles and stuff, I just kind of like shout to the group. I'm like, anybody else want tacos?
I want a
shit,
taco. You
tacos.
see, Cyrus.
Well, no, Cyrus, I'm asking on your behalf. We can stop and get them on the way.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's go pick up some tacos.
Anybody want tacos?
I could use a taco. That was
Tacos.
the katana swinging and all that.
All right, cool.
Tacos.
So Cyrus, let's bring them some tacos. We can have tacos with them.
All right, fair enough. You guys go get tacos, and over lunch, as it were,
It's
Cyrus
like one of
chats
those
you
like
guys up,
20
like,
packs of
"Who are you
tacos.
people?"
Just
Oh, yeah.
all the
Big
tacos.
box of tacos, and yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's just like, he talks you guys up like, who are you people exactly?
Crunch.
Good
We
answer.
didn't get
taco
crunchy
fan.
tacos. We got real tacos.
There you go. Yeah. He just makes idle conversation with you. The ride to the Turing agency for you in the ambulance is actually pretty quiet. You see the ambulance drivers are just like talking amongst themselves. You overhear them like, "Is this guy for real? Like AI rights? Like, what a joke! What an idiot!" And then eventually they pull up outside the offices and they're like, "All right, time to get out. Sorry, buddy." And they open up the doors. Turing agents come out in full uniform. Netwatch agents come out in full uniform, and Shotki's already inside waiting, speaking to some of the head people. And they all automatically stop you at the door as you're like leaving the ambulance, Candy, and then they listen to the radio, and it's like, "Oh yeah, you're clear to go in if you want to go in. It's fine." He's like, "This one's coming in for questioning, however, and you're not to be in the room when that happens." And they kind of like grab Haas and say, "You can't do this to me! You gotta let me go! This is not right! I have rights, you know!" It's like, "Shut up!" And they just pull him into the building.
Be really careful with that particular tendon right there.
He's hurt pretty bad. So yeah, this is actually
Yeah,
kind of,
and Candy's like, excuse me, you are mishandling this patient right now of mine.
the other medics are like, "Shh, shut up! No, you like they're gonna pull your license if you do that. Okay, you don't fuck with these guys. These guys are these Turing guys. Like, don't fuck with them. All right, seriously."
I have a moral obligation.
that's all fine and good, but you can't do anything if you don't have a license to practice. The one medic says. Anyway, we gotta go. We're gonna go get lunch. The rest of the medics are starting to get their van.
You go enjoy your tacos.
We will.
How dare you?
You feel kind of like you're alone. Like everybody left you. You're just like outside of Netwatch offices. Like, oh.
This is what I get for having morals and making sure someone gets to a place safely and trying to understand what on earth what a robot could be doing with its USB stick.
So you guys finish up lunch, and Sarah's like,
"Well, I guess we're bringing it to the office, like to the NetTech office."
Oh, you're bringing the tacos? Excellent.
Yeah,
so you just see.
We're stopping on the way to bring tacos to everybody.
Well, you see the brightly the brightly optimistic Candy just sitting on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I'm making Cyrus pay for them.
That's fine. He's cool with that. He's
like Cyrus is buying like 20, 30 tacos.
Are these people my friends now? That's pretty cool. He's
aw, he's so wholesome.
I show up last in a taxi. I pay the guy with
oh my god, is he a himbo?
Himbo?
Oh, totally.
Cyrus is a himbo.
Daniel Craig? I mean,
I love him now.
He's like, well,
I guess you found your redeeming quality.
I don't think Eric knows what a himbo is.
I do.
Oh, okay.
We found the redeeming quality.
We did.
He's a natural blonde, so hey, there you go.
It took us how many hours to find the redeeming quality?
You guys pull up outside of Netwatch offices, and Candy's just kind of like, and then the tacos come pop out, and she's like, oh, hey.
Candy, we all have to go inside. We have tacos. They invited us all in. Why are you out here?
You see the...
Because I was trying to pick a fight, and I'm not good at that.
Oh, well, don't do that, but come with us.
I can do it.
Did you speak to any of these, any of your compatriots after lunch and the taxi ride about what you found before you step into Netwatch territory?
No, because apparently I only caught back up with them at the office. I'm not saying shit about that file within 50 yards of one of these meters.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning
kilometers of one of these places.
It is. Yeah, no.
Okay, cool.
And any mentioning Candy's doing is just, what on earth could a robot do with a USB stick that it's not medically possible? And I have questions.
Of course, so many questions. It's not cybersex, I assure you.
What type of she's just like medically questions.
I'm
so, they direct you.
That Cyanide actually instructed her agent to download the files that Rift gave her to her home computer, and then deleted them from the agent.
Oh, smart. Okay.
Like on
Did
the way
you look
over.
at them at all?
No, not yet. I haven't had time to. I've been with Cyrus this whole time. But like, they are on my home computer and not where somebody who is at NetTech could see them.
All right. Walk into their offices. Immediately, they point you to the little waiting room to kind of sit and stew while they interrogate Haas in the other room. It's one of those classic, window panel rooms, interrogation rooms.
Oh, they're usual suspecting us?
And just bags of tacos.
Him, not you.
Oh,
You're
so
waiting outside of that room.
None of us snitch. Wait,
yeah, they bring you in one at a time to get your accounting. After they're done with Haas, they move him to a separate office with Shotki in tow. Like, he comes out and they go into this office together. And then they bring you in one at a time and they ask you, like, one by one, like, what did you see? What happened exactly as you see it? You spent several hours at the Netwatch office just recounting what happened.
Candy's story is so elaborate. And
I'm sure.
And then I was right, and the Gatling gun showed up. Do you have another thing? Do you have another roll of tape? You're gonna need another roll.
And Nomad is just going off about a purple Ford Firebird that was technically his, but they took it away, and he's pissed.
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah, noted. Okay, get out. I'm done with you. Thank you. Good." He's like, "Good job running down the bot or whatever they derogatory term."
Because I ran down that bot with my car and ruined it, I need the purple car as compensation.
We'll pay for any damages done to your van. Thank you for your cooperation.
It's a purple
car.
See, yeah, that she knows. Anyway, so
eventually, Shotki comes out and he tells all of you to come into the interrogation room with him. Sans Haas. He sits on one end of the table. He has you sit on the other end of the table, and it's like, Mr. Haas was very forthcoming with his information. And he's like, it seems that he received some sort of an invitation to a convergence event with an entity known as Mithras.
Oh, the robot porking.
I have a question. Is there
Yes.
any tech skill, since this is all about AI and stuff like that, is there any tech skill I can roll to see if I understand the term like convergence in relation to what he's talking about?
This is a
Or
fairly
can
new age term, but yeah, you can
Okay.
try. It's very difficult
And-
to get.
or
potentially.
can I also maybe try to understand what Mithras is as well? Like if I heard
Yeah.
that, like
Anybody who has
a
education can roll to find out what Mithras and or Jupiter and all this stuff has to do with anything.
Okay.
You can roll for
Well,
that.
what would you like me to roll specifically for the tech side of convergence? Like what
Yeah,
type
which
of
which
tech?
education is it?
Why does my car guy have a 6 in animal handling?
Sometimes you gotta ride out, and other times you have to ride out.
Well, no,
Because
no, no.
every skill
How
has a
else-
base rank.
I-
It's
the best
a
answer.
attribute.
How
No, no,
else do you
I have a
control
level
car's
6 in-
horsepower?
Horsepower.
Yeah, the
How else
character
do you
sheet is
help
adding.
you wrangle a hog?
The character sheet is
Wow.
How on earth do you drive a Mustang?
telling you that you need a horse.
Okay, cool. I want
Anyway,
a
what's the
horse
education
thing.
roll?
I think basic tech for you, Steve, and education roll difficulty 12, 13, 13. We'll say 13.
I'm trying to find it. There's education skills,
Yeah, there's no like education role.
No? Oh,
like language.
It's a-
library.
it
It's
is.
a-
Yeah.
No, it's
Education's right above gamble. Under education skills.
Oh, so there's education skills. One of them is called education. What
Yeah, I
the
know.
fuck?
Don't worry.
That.
Don't worry about
yeah,
it.
Found
Just roll
it.
holy shit.
That makes sense now. I'm very smart.
You are. It's a weird setup. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm also really smart. I don't believe it's robot porking anymore.
Did anybody beat a 13 with an education roll?
I got a
all
like
20.
a 24.
Oh,
Mithras, Jupiter, they're all gods.
Yeah,
You all know
Okay.
this, and it's like, okay, rogue AIs believe that they're gods. It's weird. Weird that they would name themselves that. Okay, what's going on with the thing with the terms that they're throwing around with this convergence? You've heard of hackers. This is all, there's no proof of this officially, but you've heard stories of netrunners getting stuck in the net back when it was the net, and essentially becoming an entity within the net, sans the body. In other words, their personalities, their consciousness gets stuck in the net, and it becomes a thing. And they're actually thrown together in the same nomenclature as rogue AIs or transcendent AIs and so on and so forth. So it kind of it's a relatively new term that they've they've used in the technology world to refer to people who have somehow exceeded their physical limitations and and actually exist personality-wise,
So
mentally.
if
inside of
someone
the-
is saying that they were going to take part in convergence, they're basically saying I was about to upload my consciousness out of my physical form into the net.
yeah. This is
Conver-
like
a
post singularity.
Yeah.
a convergence means a mixture
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
Was robot porking.
I
Right.
think Candy's onto something here. Just, with the robot part.
Sort of, but yeah, okay.
It's like
There's been robot porking since like 2016, y'all.
So you see,
I know,
It's
like,
slightly dirty.
and then the
Just,
pillow incident. Okay.
Shotgi looks directly at and Rift, and it's like, we know about the link. Would you like to cooperate now or later?
Rift is paying no attention to this guy.
I can cooperate with my sword.
Once again, he's not even looking at whoever's talking to him.
Shotgi, he's technically your boss, but okay, under contract anyway. He's like,
Clink,
hmm.
clink, clink. I don't know. I'm so
You know how dangerous AIs actually are, these rogue AIs?
I mean, technically, we're AIs just in flesh
Let me
bodies
tell he
with
talks right over you.
augmentations.
He talks right over you. He doesn't care. He's just like, let me tell you a little anecdote. Once upon a time, there was a man who cared very deeply for somebody, and they had a treatable disease, but this disease had to be taken care of at a hospital and had to be constantly under care.
Like
So
a regular disease. Keep
Like
talking.
Like a regular disease, exactly. Unfortunately, the incorporation of learning, machine learning, as it were, exceeded that of human capacity. It's like so at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, when the system misdiagnosed this patient, it had tried to correct and adjust for this aberration, and it ended up killing this person.
I mean, that happens in regular medicine all the time. You
Yeah,
know
it's
how
called human error. It's really common.
Yeah.
But this was no human who made this error.
Oh no, robots aren't perfect. We should destroy them all.
I mean,
He just
yeah, it's
Name
just
one time you weren't
Humans.
late on your 401k.
He's like, this is not my story. This is Anders Stromberg's story.
Who?
Nevertheless, Anders Stromberg, you kind of you might get the reference. But he is the leader of Turing. There's a TED talk of him online that you can pull up and go, oh, this asshole. He looks, of course, like the late great Rutger Hauer.
Mhm.
He is the leader of the head of the chief, as it were, of Turing. And he's like, this is the personal anecdote that he gave me. And he's like, and this is why we do what we do. These rogue AIs, such as it were, are extremely dangerous in the wrong hands and can cause people to lose their lives. More so than human error, he says, and he looks at you directly.
I mean, serial killers.
Yeah, who chooses who the wrong hands are?
We do, he says.
Why?
Very,
who the hell are you?
He kind of looks behind him where it says the name of the building of the organization. Well, it's in this case it's Netwatch, but it's like he just kind of sighs and he's like, I don't have patience for this. The file.
I didn't
Now-
vote for you, dude. You don't get to make my laws.
This isn't a democracy, I'm afraid. This is an investigation, and you're withholding evidence.
I'm
And he's
not.
like,
I don't work
You
for
have
you.
any? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. How
that's
can
because
we
I'm
be
not
with?
talking to you. I'm talking to him, and he
Well,
looks at Rift.
well, you're withholding a purple car from me, so
Rift-
The other-
Riff looks at Terra. So, what's going on? As you know, I'm deaf to asshat.
So Tara
I can apply medicine for that sick burn.
Tara just has his sketch pad out and he's just going to town on this new gun that has the targeting system from the machine gun elevator, and he's just like, I don't know, he's mad at you for something and he won't shut up and he's very scary.
And he likes talking over people, and that's just rude.
He's just like, he picks up his agent, and like somebody comes in and like leans over and whispers something in his ear, and he's like, I see that you've he tells you how much exact money you have in your account, Rift, and he starts reading out information about your home address, number, all sorts of personal details.
Doxing him?
He hands the thing back
Rift
to
is
the other
literally
guy.
not going to talk to this guy because he's a rude asshole. If someone else comes in and talks, Rift might listen.
He kind of like assesses you for a moment.
This could take hours. Rift won't care.
Yeah, that's fine. He grills you for the better part of an hour. You don't relent, so he's like, time to take a rest, he says. And he gets up, he takes a sip of water, and he walks out of the room. In walks somebody else. A kinder, gentler face on the same asshole that you just encountered. Woman this time, gray suit, blonde hair with a ponytail. She doesn't introduce herself.
Oh, you're definitely purple.
He leans in, smiles. He's like, I understand that Inspector Shotke can put a lot of people off to what he's attempting to do, but
Who?
we all have a job to do today. You know what I'm talking about. He's like, she points to the door. It's like,
My only job is filming that guy. Like, I'm not part of
oh yeah,
this.
you're fine. She says, like, no problems. The rest of you, you're not in any trouble at all, but we need the information that you recovered from the scene of the crime. Because this
Candy's
was a crime.
gonna watch the good cop, bad cop behavior and just be able to be like, take notes and be like, here's where you're going wrong with this.
Because we ultimately know that there's a link, and that link goes to the old net. What we need is the information, but more than that, we need a capable net runner to do so. Netwatch's netrunners are not going to be able to do this. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to go beyond the black wall. You, on the other hand, can.
Net, like
Oh, I gave you
fishing
that
net,
file. It's
basketball
corrupted.
net.
You've got what I've got.
Yes, and because
Baseball
it's
net.
corrupted, we can't ascertain the direct link information.
That sucks.
Yeah.
How do we
It's
fix
like
that?
Well, when we looked at the date, at the post date, it looks like it was a carbon copy was created today. So we would like to know where the original is, so that way we can use
So
the
would I.
link to
Then
find.
we could hack it.
I thought the original
Now
got
she
deleted.
smiles. She smiles at you, and she's like, "Come on, this is my job too. Why don't you
Is
make it easy on all of us and just give me the information that I need, so that we can proceed with the investigation?"
Is
Is
this-
that what that guy was doing before he shot at me? He was fiddling around on something electric, and I don't know. It looked like it was internet capable.
Also, your good cop routine, you're doing good, but you often lead with like, are you hungry or are you thirsty? The answer to that is no, because we had tacos.
She reads you like a book, and she's like, "Enrique Haas is not going to die or anything. He's getting first-class medical treatment as soon as we're done with him here. We needed to have immediate information because we have over 100 cyberforms that are running around out there, running amok. There are already 36 people have been hospitalized and over 100 people injured just on the highway alone outside the Beltway in Night City. This is going to get worse before it gets better. We need to know why this happened. Are you willing to cooperate?"
I have a question for the new person.
Mhm.
And I pick up the sketch. Do you think that this needs calibration on the horizontal stabilizer, or do you think it needs to be referenced against the vertical stabilizer when the gun is on auto fire?
She gets the
So-
message and she smiles and
so-
she just kind of.
So, Rift, roll a persuasion, natural 10. I'll throw all my luck into that, making that a 29. I look her dead in the eye and say, I only have the corrupted file. It's terrible how you treat your employees. I'm not a liar. Fuck that other guy. With a
I'm
29
glad
persuasion.
I don't work for y'all.
You know what Shaki rolled when you told him, like, there's nothing there? He rolled 2 10s in a row. He knows you're lying.
He might, but
He
she
is-
doesn't.
He's the lead investigator. I mean, yeah, she bought it hook,
Yeah.
hook, line, and sinker, but he knows you're lying, and he's the lead investigator. That's gonna be a problem. He's
I
just
mean,
like, very
if
well
you have
then.
enough
I mean,
people doubting you, and say a lie enough times, it becomes the truth.
that's fine. I think we're gonna go ahead and terminate our contract now. You feel free to leave the premises whenever you're ready.
I'm not under contract. What the hell do you want me to do?
Wait, Cyrus, wait a minute. Does that mean you're fired? Please get out.
But he wasn't hired. He doesn't.
He was deputized.
That's not hired. You didn't pay him.
For the investigation, yeah, you know.
Well, if you are going to be terminating the contract, we are going to need our terminated contract fees.
Front desk,
And I'm
please.
gonna need the paperwork done in triplicate, hand
She
only.
like packs up her stuff and she's like, "Thank you for that," and she leaves. The Netwatch agents open the door and they're like, "Oh, sorry, correction. They're not firing Cyanide and Cyrus. They're still deputized to the investigation, but you all that are unconnected are let go of their contract, and you're led to the front of the building to be let outside."
I'm like, Cyrus, we don't need this. We should go with them.
"Oh no, this job pays pretty good.
This
Think we should
job
stick
pays
around?
nothing. Your actual job pays well.
I'm not a net runner. I don't know what they want me to do here."
You got randomly deputized by some asshole who didn't pay you, and then you bought tacos for him, and he didn't pay you back for those. We should leave, buddy.
You did technically get paid, but it was just like it's an electronic transaction. As soon as you went through the doors of Netwatch offices, they get your 500 credits or what have you. And he's like, "Well, I'm buying a lot more tacos now, I suppose." You guys step outside of the offices, and you both get a message from the Netwatch offices vis-a-vis Shotki, not directly. He's just like, "Report back to duty. We give you like a date at the end of the week to come back to the office for."
I
for-
don't
or
work
whatever.
for you.
Send. You guys are outside the Netwatch offices. Are you speaking with one another? Are you making plans?
I'm like trying to follow these folks because they seem more interesting than.
Once we're at least a half a mile
definitely.
away, Yes, but immediately outside the office, the only thing I would say is look at the rest of them and say, it's like they don't even know we're cyberpunks. Do they not understand the nature of the word rebel?
I mean, I just was really worried that they were just gonna go ahead and kill him.
You know, Rift, that if you are to follow that link down the rabbit hole, as it were, you're going to need a direct connection to a server that actually still maintains the old net, which means you may have to perform a run on Netwatch. And that's where we'll stop for tonight.
Yes.
All right.
Yikes. Oh man.
Rift's plan is actually to ask Nomad's people to take us somewhere to one. Maybe we could Mad Max our way
that
to an
might-
old server.
That's
That
what I was
sounds
literally
like a
having
good
the same
idea.
thought actually. Don't
Well-
do the run at Netrun. Do the run out in the wild.
I just
Yeah.
want to like ditch
Always an
Cyrus and
option.
hang out with these folks. I'm just like, go away.
Come on. Yeah,
Go away, old
clearly.
white man.
I like the himbo and the rocker boy.
Yes, yes.
Candy's just like, great, everybody's okay. Everybody's fine. They insulted my medical proudness and need to pay.
Well, that's all the time
You
we
just
have
say
for this
proudness?
session. Yes.
Proudness.
Prowess.
Prowess, yes.
I have trouble with speech.
I am super into prowess. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, proudness. I'm down
Brownus,
for
I'm
it.
down with it. It's official. I hope everybody here and those watching enjoyed the show. We'll return next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the conclusion of our awesome adventure, Neo Spirits. Thanks again to Dixie and Michelle for joining us tonight. If you enjoyed tonight's program, feel free to check out our other awesome adventures and terrifying tales. In the way of awesome adventures this month, Patty Shakes is doing the Scarred Lands Dead Man's Rust Kickstarter, which is complete.
It's so good.
It's great.
Part 2 of our two-part event this week. Wednesdays, we have Space Lord Pajamas here doing Pugmire Holiday Special, How the Pirates Stole Yuletime.
Also,
Don't
Book
forget-
Meyer, it's amazing. I can
Yes.
pick up that book too.
And don't forget to check out Patty Shakes' epic D&D 5e campaign on Fridays with Dungeon of the Mad Mage. For Terrifying Tales, we have Chronicles of Darkness, No Time for Reality, run by Tyler on the Onyx Path channel. And Kimchi's Chilling Chronicles, run by Dwayne, currently playing Dark Void by Modifius. And on Sundays, Tyler's is doing Tales of Terror and Damnation. This week, we are completing the terrifying tale of the Disintegrator. I've been
Close
Eric
enough.
at Marone. I've been Eric at Marone Recluse on Twitter. You can find me here again on Sunday for another terrifying tale. Check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/warpletales and keep up to date on what we're doing throughout the month by checking our updated calendar on warpletales.com. Good night, everybody, and chip in and drop out.